a good time.
All kinds of crazy chaos can ensue here, just like on anywhere else. Oh my gosh, we're live. Hey, welcome to Super Meatballs. It is Sunday. It's 9 o'clock, so it's a little bit early, but some interesting stuff happening a little bit later. And currently, I can breathe right now, so it's a good time to go live. How are you today, Tim?
I am well rested. I don't normally sleep in on Sundays, but of course the Sunday where you're like, could we start an hour early? Like I slept till 8:30. Like I was scribbling my notes, and you were like, how about a 9 o'clock start time? And I was like, right faster, boy.
Oh no. So I mean, well, I guess what time did you wake up yesterday?
Maybe like 7:30 or 8, something like that.
All right, that's not bad. I mean, for an adult, I woke up at 5. And my alarm woke me up at 5. Now, and here's why. This is dad moment again. Derek was part of an audition group for district band. So district band is kind of like the Unico All-Star game, except you have to audition for it.
Yeah.
And he was one of 13 kids from Chambersburg, I think, that went out. And he was one of 3 that made it.
Oh, so, nice.
Good for him. Like I told him, I'll wake up at 3 in the morning for you. It feels better if you win. So that was cool to see. I'm proud of the kid.
You were like, I'll wake up, but if you don't make the cut, don't come back home.
If the concert is in Steelton, home of legendary coach Floyd Weist, on February.
Oh,
I don't know if you understand that. Then if you know, then you know.
Oh, I know.
You know. But I'll tell you what, there's a ton of stuff going on, and we could pick a top story from almost anywhere. But I'm going to do something a little weird. We're going to start with the NBA today, just because. And really, there's 2 really big names in the news. Spoiler alert: right now, the LA Clippers are a tire fire. 13th place in the conference, don't own their top pick. The Thunder do. And earlier this week, some drama because you just got rid of Chris Paul.
Yeah, and you think a player like Chris Paul's stature is going to get like this nice retirement tour, and here it's the beginning of December, and they're like, "Yeah, we're changing the locks. Don't come back. Hand in your uniform, please."
And that's what's going on this year. It's supposed to be his retirement tour. It's his swan song season. And from what I read, the Clippers can they got rid of him, but they didn't get rid of him. They haven't released him yet. If they release him, they owe him $3.6 million. And I'm hoping the producers of this show release me for $3.6 million. My goodness.
I'll take 2.
Or they can trade him outright by December 15th. And I don't know if that's logical. I saw maybe he wants to live in LA, like that's his thing, and they said, well, maybe the Lakers would acquiesce, but he's got a career low in minutes and points. It's really his farewell tour. But Hall of Fame guy, and it's weird that he gets treated like this.
Well, and the reports are that he's in year 21, and he was changing like defensive assignments, and Jeff Van Gundy, who's like the defensive assistant, was like, you're not that guy anymore. Like, this isn't your team. Like, like you can't do that. Like, so I don't know if there are teams that are going to want to have him and, seemingly that ego in their locker room.
I guess on the other hand, I mean, if it's changing defensive assignments, it's like calling an audible, right? He's been in the league 21 years. You'd think he'd be able to. That's a knowledge thing, and is it Van Gundy's ego that's getting in the way? Like I know that I've seen again TikTok stuff. Last Chance U for some reason is back on my TikTok with that. I don't forget the guy's name, but he coached at Independence, Kansas, and he cursed a lot. And he had this quarterback who was really smart, but who was really dumb in other respects, and they would fight on the sidelines about like coverages. And if the player is smart enough to see what's going on, sometimes the coach isn't always right. I don't know the situation here though.
And the other thing that they're reporting is that his relationship with the head coach Ty Lue had
I Lou, that's I think a bigger deal.
yeah, and it devolved to the point where they were barely talking for the past 5 weeks.
I Lou's a good coach too, so it's not like, you know, that's a sad, weird situation. But it's the Clippers are going to Clipper, so I mean that's
I think more than anything, it's just indicative of this is a team that everyone was like the Clippers will be competitive in the West, and that could not be further from the truth.
no, they're certainly
they are terrible.
Another team that maybe could be more competitive than they are, except this is in the East, Milwaukee, and now Milwaukee's the big talk is Giannis wants to get out, he wants to go, and there's some interesting trade. So with NBA trades, you got to realize it's not just one for one, and it's not like in football where I can give you a player, you give me 4 draft picks or whatever. The NBA, it's a salary thing. So you got to make things work. And if Milwaukee wants to rebuild, what do you want when you rebuild? You want money and you want picks. And the big team, I guess Giannis wanted to go to the Knicks, which is kind of cool for me.
The Knicks have nothing to offer that Milwaukee wants.
But the Knicks could get help from someone. And I've seen enough mock trades. The one mock here, I have to pull it back up if it loads, because this is absolutely wild. The Knicks would get the Golden State Warriors in, and the Knicks would get Giannis, Kyle Kuzma, and Cole Anthony. The Warriors would get Mikal Bridges and Gary Trent Jr., and the Bucks would take Karl Anthony Towns, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Deuce McBride, Golden State's unprotected first-round picks in 2026 and 2032.
Which who knows what you're getting there. And
then there's a bevy of other picks, pick swaps. You have to be a rocket scientist, neurosurgeon combo to be able to trade in the NBA.
Well, and that's why you see that any big trade in the NBA is a multiple team like blockbuster, because that's exactly it. You have to make the finances work.
I saw the Bucks taking Karl Anthony Towns. They want to get younger and they want to get drafted. It's not that. I don't know anything about Buddy Hield or Deuce McBride. Jonathan Kuminga, I think is a nice young kid.
But Buddy Hield's a streaky shooter. Some days he'll go out there and he'll drop 25. Other times he'll go out and score 7 points on 3 of 18 shooting.
Yeah, there you go. The other two trading, like they made mock trades here that are slightly interesting. The Lakers get Giannis, and the Bucks get a ton of stuff. Austin Reeves.
That's the one I saw where Reeves is like the big piece the Lakers would be giving up.
Hachimura, Kleber, Vincent, Dalton Connect, the LA unprotected first-round picks in 2031, a first-round swap option in 26, 28, 30, and 32. If the Lakers get Giannis this year, are they favored out west?
They would have to be, because not only for the offense,
Reeves.
Right, but when you think about what they're getting in rebounding and a rim protector, not even considering the offense,
and a scorer,
right? Like a guy who gives you 30, 13, and 6 a night. You're getting a former defensive player of the year. One of the few in NBA history to win defensive player of the year and MVP in the same season. It's just him, Olajuwon, and Jordan, I think.
And it's not like Giannis is like an old man. It's not like he's 38.
He's 31 with a lot of miles.
Yeah. But he's got a lot of miles left on him, I think.
Well, that's always the question with guys who are around or over 7 feet, is how well the joints are going to hold up.
Somebody over 7 feet. The other trade that I thought was really interesting, the Bucks would get a lot of stuff from San Antonio, including Steven Castle, who's the big name in this pick, an unprotected 27, unprotected 29, and the Spurs would get Giannis. Can you imagine Giannis and Wemby in the same front court? Would that make them the uncontested favorite out west?
It's funny because in all these scenarios, the Knicks one is the least ridiculous. Like when you think of a team that's rolling out LeBron, Luca, and Giannis, or where Giannis is somehow not the tallest guy in his own lineup.
I mean, as a guy who will kind of loosely follow the Knicks because they're from New York, I think it would be cool if Giannis went there. I think, I don't know what what would like really make like why Milwaukee would want to send him there. I think sending him out west would make more team sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to trade him in conference.
But if they get all the stuff they were going to get, I mean, I would, as a Knicks guy, I was like, hey, I would make that trade 10 times a week and twice on Sunday, which today is Sunday, so let's get it done. I don't know if the Bucks have a window where they need, like, there's no urgency to this. I think Giannis has another year on this deal, or it might be an option year, but it's not like he's a free agent. They're going to lose him. I think he's unhappy. So, and in the NBA, if your superstar is unhappy, you fix it.
And for all the NBA conspiracy theorists out there,
that's me.
Can you imagine the chatter if he ends up in New York or Los Angeles? That one of the faces of the league suddenly is no longer in Milwaukee, but is like in one of the flagship cities of the league.
Yeah, but in the NBA, more than any other sport, it's player driven. The players have all the power, and if he wants to go, they're gonna find a way. It's not like now if they trade him to the Knicks for, I don't know, an unprotected 2075 first round pick, then yeah, that's a big deal. But I don't know what the Knicks draft situation is. Quite honestly, the only draft situation I'm aware of is the Clippers because of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the bevy of picks they have. Oh, by the way, the Oklahoma City Thunder are insane.
They still haven't lost since we talked last.
22-1. Are they 22-1?
Yeah.
I thought I saw the headline yesterday that they won. There they are, 22-1 on a 14-game winning streak, winning by an average of 15 points a game, which if you look across the league, and I have the ability to do that at the click of a button, the next highest point differential is Houston at 10. That's 5 points a game, which, I mean, when you think, well, it's only 5 points, if you look at all of the teams that have winning like positive point differentials, only three of them are higher than 5, and other than Houston and Oklahoma City.
And the common denominator there is Houston and Oklahoma City are probably the two best defensive teams in the league. So, they can fill it up while keeping other teams off the scoreboard.
They are 1-2 in offense, 1-2 in defense. So, I mean, that helps. I mean, that's what point differential is, obviously. So,
yeah. I saw some people making the point that it shows how maybe the NBA has fallen in popularity, that you have the Thunder doing something that hasn't been done since like the Warriors in 2016 and then the Bulls in 96. And in the national, sports landscape, very few people are talking about it.
Well, it's football season, so I mean we're going to get to football here in a little bit, but
I'll tell you what, it was football season in 1996 too, but all people talked about was Jordan.
Yeah, well, that is true.
I think it shows that not only how the NBA is certainly not as popular as it was in 1996 or even 2016, but how I don't think the NBA viewing public engages with Shea the way they do a Jordan or a Steph Curry.
No, and I don't know if that's big city Chicago versus Oklahoma, or was it the fact that David Stern knew how to market stars, and like Michael Jordan had a presence to him that I don't know if SGA has. Steph Curry seems just like the goofy kid next door who just can't miss. He's got that weird look. He chews on his mouthpiece.
there's something very human about a guy who's 6'4", and like he's not like a giant who like is like this impossible human. Like he just seems like a guy who
Yeah.
just happens to be the best in human history at doing what he's doing.
Not that Michael was, a giant or 6'6", he's a big dude, but he had like the way Dave Chappelle or the way Charlie Murphy described Rick James, he had that aura about him. Like,
Jordan had before swagger was a term. Jordan had that swagger.
There, yeah, it's a family show, but you know what? It was in a movie, so. There's a line in the movie Moneyball that I love. The guy walks in his room, his dick's been in there 2 minutes already.
Yeah.
That's there you go. So, but back to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They play today. They have the Jazz tonight. They should be pushovers. I don't know if I see a tough game on their schedule until like Friday at Minnesota.
Minnesota can be feisty, and scoring about 30 a night.
Then we're looking at a Christmas Day, Christmas Eve double dip at San Antonio, home against San Antonio. That should be two good games too.
But Wemby's been hurt is the problem there.
Oh, what has he? Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's been out. I think it's a calf strain.
Got 2 weeks to get back at it. So, it's the other thing. I haven't followed Boston. I haven't followed New York either, quite honestly. I don't know where they are in the world.
Boston's gotten hot. They're like 14-9, 15-9, somewhere in there. A nice win against the Lakers on Friday, even though they were without Luka or LeBron.
There you go. 8-2 in their last 10. The Knicks are 7-3 in their last 10. So both teams, pretty good. I don't pay too much attention to where these guys are until you start seeing like that little number, your magic number, how the playoff stuff works.
I think most people in general kind of tune out the NBA until around like the All-Star break. The Super Bowl's over. There's no baseball, so that's when people start to watch a little more basketball and follow the standings a little more.
And when we were growing up, like I'm talking like 7th, 8th, 9th grades, like it was around this time, I would get super pumped for college basketball because this is when they have like those weird holiday tournaments.
Yeah.
Like the Maui Open or the Maui.
I used to love the Maui Invitational.
And like you get like big time games in there.
The Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Just yesterday, I don't think it was part of anything, but Iowa State knocked off the top-ranked team, Purdue. It was the largest non-conference home loss by a number one team in AP poll history. Iowa State knocked off Purdue by 23. But Purdue is a really good team. I think when the new AP poll comes out, I mean, Michigan might be number one. I don't know if you've seen what these guys have done, but back-to-back wins against ranked teams by 30 and 40 points respectively. They beat Gonzaga, the number 12 team in the country. It was like 101-61.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I've watched zero college basketball.
I mean, I haven't watched it. I mean, I checked the scores on them, and Michigan just beat Rutgers by 40 again. Now, I mean, that's Rutgers, but they're really good this year. They're scary good. The other team that I kind of follow, like I follow a lot of stuff, a lot of teams, as you can see. Syracuse, they started out really strong against, the Drexels of the world, but then they were part of, what was it? One of these tournaments. And they hung tough with Houston, who's ranked 3rd in the country. They lost by 4. And then they came back and they beat Tennessee without their own best scorer. So, I mean, that's kind of cool to see. The big problem with Syracuse, they can't shoot free throws. They have a guy on the team who did – go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, and what I was going to say is I think what we see a lot in college football, we've certainly seen in college basketball, is that parity is the name of the game. That, there's no one – UConn's maybe the closest in the last 5 years to being a dominant program, just having gone back-to-back. But, the sort of the landscape of college basketball. It's not the Dukes and the Carolinas. It's not the Blue Bloods who are ruling the roost. It's the Purdue's. Kelvin Sampson's got Houston,
Yeah.
being very competitive.
You know what's sad?
Tennessee again.
You know what's tough, and this is me. If you offered me $10 million to tell you the Final Four last year, I don't think I could do it.
Oh, it was Florida. It was Houston. It was Duke.
Baylor make it? Because they've been good recently.
I can't remember who the fourth was, but
I mean, if Mr. Smarty Pants can't figure it out.
Yeah, I'd have to. I wasn't in a pool last year, I don't think.
Oh, look at this. All the number one seeds. Houston beat Duke and Florida beat Auburn.
Auburn, yes. Because the SEC was the big one last year where they were saying, would it be 4 SEC teams in the Final Four?
Okay. No, I totally lost. And Florida beats Houston. And we probably talked about it on the show.
Yeah,
but
it was a great game.
It didn't stick with me. And that's kind of a bummer. I remember growing up, you'd see like the All-Americans in the standard speaker that had their pictures there, and it was cool. But I'll follow these guys sparingly until the tournament, and then I'll get into a bracket and I'll bust out the first weekend.
Yeah, we did. You had a pool last year, right?
I think I got you into my friend Jeff ran one with his game design company, and I thought, well, it'd be an easy way for you and I to compete.
That sounds right. That's how closely I followed. I don't even remember that I was in a pool last year.
I mean, it's a free pool that it's a way to track. I had friends that I worked with that are like, do you want to get in? It's like $20. I'm like, that's a dinner somewhere that I'm just throwing away because I know I'm not going to win. Like, I know I'm literally just throwing darts at teams. Like, ooh, I think Kentucky's good. And why is Hawaii the 2 seed? Well, they're a 2 seed. They're probably good. No.
Yeah. College basketball, kind of like what I was just saying about the NBA. It's one of those things where once they get into like conference play, like January, February, like when they're in the heart of the conference schedules, that's when I'll start to tune in a little more.
We're talking about college basketball on December 7th. Here we are. We're going to go from pros to college. We're going to talk high school basketball here. Amazingly, it was widely reported this week across the Commonwealth that the PIAA, the governing body of high school sports, voted and unanimously approved the inclusion of a 35-second shot clock for high school basketball starting 2028, 2029 for all varsity and JV, boys and girls basketball here in the state. Pennsylvania now joins 32 states, including Washington, D.C. Tim, do you think that's good news, bad news, or no news?
Yeah, it's time. It was always like a good strategic weapon for teams that were outmatched to play slow down.
Corner.
Yeah, play the 4 corners and try to win like 10-8. But I think as a development tool, as an educational tool, teaching players to play efficient offensive basketball with a shot clock, I think not only does it promote just more watchable basketball, but I think it helps develop players better than just like pass for 2 minutes.
So here's the thing. I mean, high school football has it. There's been a play clock forever. It's called delay a game. So I had no inside information, but I do know the high school basketball coach at Chambersburg. So shot him an email. Said, hey, coach, what do you think of this? So Chambersburg's coach is Sean Schreffler, really great guy.
Still there?
Did I lose you? Uh-oh. Well, until we wait for Tim to get back here. Coach Sean Schreffler, really cool guy. I coached his son when I was coaching 8th grade football. He was one of the better quarterbacks I had. And he's back.
I am. Oh, there I am.
Hey, bad Wi-Fi. It's 9:30. Your Wi-Fi is not expected to work until 10.
My Wi-Fi's like, oh, it's early. What are we doing?
Oh. No, what I was saying, I talked to the coach at Chambersburg, Sean Schreffler, and he told me he is a huge proponent of this. He wished it was happening sooner rather than later. He said it's going to make the game more exciting, a little bit more strategic. Late in the fourth quarter, which people don't like teams stalling, so that's going to change the strategy of the game. And I asked him, is it going to change the way you coach? And he said, no, not really. He's like, for the past 3 summers, they've played in a summer league that has a 30-second shot clock. So imagine like they played in a Solo Sereni type thing, but they had a 30-second shot clock. So 35 seconds is going to feel like an eternity to them.
Yeah, and like just think of like a district or a state playoff game, just like how much more dramatic it'll be when you're not just going against the game clock, but a team having to play like lockdown defense for 35 seconds or an offense trying to find like that good look. It really is just more exciting basketball.
When do you start fouling? When do you not?
Yeah, 2-for-1s.
The other thing that I thought of, this is for 2028, 2029. This has to be for finances, and it is. The delay is for schools to allocate some funds. According to North Penn now, the cost is going to be anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000. And according to Schreffler as well, the schools are going to need to allocate some money for another official and or like a paid volunteer for games, whatever you want to call them, to operate the clock.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, if I had the time to attend every home game, I'd love to do that. That'd be easy money. Just hit the button.
Yeah, I always thought it would be pretty cool. Well, cool being a relative term, but to keep the book for like a high school team. Just
at once, it's hard. I did it for a rainy game.
I mean, it's no different than is like from the journalism days. Just keeping, because I would keep my own stats and a rough play-by-play.
Rebounds and assists too.
Yeah, I would keep blocks, steals, team turnovers.
That's impressive. I think that's cool, but I think it's also kind of hard. You really have to know the players so that you're not like number.
Yeah, there was a lot of like when you're keeping stats, it was a lot of like watching shoot-arounds just to even like remember body types, to be like, all right, that lanky kid, that's number 12. He's their leading scorer, just so like you can know like on the fly if it's a back and forth sequence.
That's be a little behind the scenes look at media there. Oh, so the other high school thing I guess we could talk about wasn't on the rundown, but Southern Columbia won their 715th consecutive state title this year.
They did.
They're spoiler alert, they're good.
Yeah, and everything I've seen on like social media is people.
The Aliquippa people are complaining about them.
Yeah, and like Southern's closer to being by classification an A school than they are to being a 3A. And when they played A in the old 4-class system, people were like, "Oh, play up in double A." Well, now they're double A in a 6-class system, and people are like, "Put them up in 4 or 5A," and it's like, well, I think if the average fan around the state could just drive through Catawissa and see how rural it actually is.
I've been to Southern Columbia High School, actually. So when Jen did her summer show, Mamma Mia, she bought the set from Southern Columbia. So I've actually been in their auditorium is a really cool looking auditorium. They have a stage that has like a cascading staircase on the way up. It's smaller than the Chambersburg stage. It's smaller than her stage at the middle school level, but it's very nice. And they do the set that they built. The guy's name is Michael Iyer. Mr. Iyer did a great job with it. Shout out to him. And their whole lobby is just full of trophies, and largely it's football. But is there this kid's coming to this school? Maybe there's a little bit of that. You can't tell me that it's any different at any private school or Berwick back in the 90s. When Gus Felder's dad magically got a job at the power plant.
And here's the thing. This same roster went 7-5 last year and got blown out in districts by Troy, who went on to win last year's state title.
Same roster, you're saying?
Yeah, same quarterback, all the same kids along the line, same backfield. Like, if we're talking 22 starters, it might be they might have returned like 16 or 17 kids from a 7-5 team. So it's not like they brought in some big guns from other districts. Like these are the same kids. And also, no one was complaining last year when they lost 5 games. I think there was a little bit of people like, okay, well, the reign is over.
Well,
It's not.
the rain has restarted in north central Pennsylvania.
I was looking at the starters they had for the Friday game against Farrell, and Southern brings back the quarterback, 2 of 3 running backs, 3 offensive linemen. So all these kids are going to be back next year.
Across the PIAA, in terms of the other champs, LaSalle College against Pittsburgh Central Catholic. A lot of D1 kids in that game. LaSalle College High School, whatever. They are your 6A champs at 12-1. Roman Catholic, Bishop McDevitt. 2 again, schools that go to church on Friday afternoons. Roman Catholic, big win there, 28-6. In 4A, Southern Lehigh Twin Valley, 43-21 Southern Lehigh, your winner there. In 3A, Avon Worth, which really sounds like a private school, but they're out of District 7, so they're out west. They knocked off Northwestern Lehigh. The aforementioned Southern Columbia Tigers, big win over Farrell. Like, you sent me stats, like it wasn't close, but the score was close. So maybe Farrell tacked on some cheap points in the fourth.
Farrell got a kick return for a touchdown to take an early lead, but they just couldn't run the ball. So Southern's defensive line was just dominant.
And then 1A, Clairton, another Whitfield school out of District 7, knocks off Bishop Guilfoyle 35-3, so not a really close game in 1A. So high school football officially over here in Pennsylvania. High school basketball season starting up. The holiday tournaments now, like there's high school holiday tournaments. Chambersburg did really well in their first game. I haven't followed Hazelton. I haven't followed Hazelton since the Mike Joseph situation, which is kind of a bummer because I liked Coach Joseph. I don't know if you ever met him.
You talk about like the holiday basketball. I always used to love was it the Cougar Classic?
They played. The year Simon Gratz came to town.
Yeah, they brought in like Simon Gratz from Philly. They would bring in some heavy hitters.
Simon Gratz was a big deal back in the day. That
around the time of Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah. Oh, dude, can you imagine Rasheed Wallace in high school?
I mean, he was already 6'10" and just the baddest guy in the state.
He was. Oh my! He would have put a hurting on. I don't know who did we have back then? Matt Scarcell, Brian Koenig.
Brian Koenig.
Oh, that was our junior year, so yeah. And he's back. It's almost 10:00. When he gets back, we'll go into football mode here. Somehow, some way, I went to bed and we woke up. It was 2025 when I went to bed, and as we welcome Tim back in, it's 1985 as you're getting back in for the second time. How we doing, man?
Oh my God! All right, I'll give you Wi-Fi. Just give me 5 more minutes.
Well, I mean, we'll get 5 minutes out as we. It's been 33 minutes and we haven't talked about football. We don't want to get fined here because it's in season. I was telling people somehow we went to bed and we woke up in 1985 where the Patriots and Bears are like, they're the big wigs in their respective conferences. Feels more normal for New England. As a Bears guy, it's kind of like it's weird being on top. And I don't know how to feel about it.
If the Bears would somehow hold on to the number 1 seed in the NFC, I fully expect you to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
That was 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
That was it 40 years ago this week that it came out?
Well, I just know they were led by a punky QB known as McMahon. When he hits the field, he don't got no plan.
I had that on. There was a cassette. You know, you get like those. You go to Kmart and like right by the cash register, they used to have those CDs for like $1, and that's what we got in the summertime.
Yeah, and quality music to be sure.
I got a CD or a cassette that had the Super Bowl Shuffle on it, and I didn't know what it was at the time. This was like 1990 or something, and that was it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard. I'm like, these are the Bears. This is awesome. No, they have a tough game, which we'll get into here in a second, but they're after their start. Last year they were 4-2. This year they were 4-2. Last year they just wet the bed and the Hail Mary killed their season. I really thought that we were going to have a duplication of that when the Bengals got that kickoff return. But the Bears came back, and the Bears have won a bunch of games in a row. They've won really close late games against bad teams. And people say, well, wait till they play a good team. Well, then they played the Eagles, and they played really well. They ran the ball really well. And now they have the Packers, who have the best run defense in the league. So it's another we'll see. But, man, Bears fans want to build statues for Ben Johnson already. And I'm a hold off, and we'll see. But I'm cautiously excited about this team. I really am. I'll Super Bowl shuffle a little.
This Bears season reminds me a lot. You mentioned the Commanders last year, and it reminds me a bit of the Commanders season last year where – you know, they're pulling out games that they would have lost last year because the Bears did lose a lot of close games. You know, in division they lost close games last year, and now that you know the Giants and the Bengals and you know it wasn't a close one with the Eagles. They just ran the Eagles off the field. They almost ran for 300 yards on the Eagles.
I was talking to former media superstar Doug Farley yesterday. About some other stuff, but Doug, we talked a little Bears, and we both kind of had the same feeling that like, yeah, it's exciting. It would be really nice to see Caleb Williams a little more consistent. I don't think Rome Odunze is playing this week. I mean, we'll get into the preview right now. That's the big news on offense that one of Williams' favorite targets is out for today. The picture they had, like Rome's got this big hair, like. He did get his helmet on, but
I was going to say it feels a bit like the Bears are at least a year or maybe 2 years away. Like I remember when the Eagles were in Andy Reid's second year, McNabb's first year as a starter. They began the year with an onside kick in Dallas. They were a nice surprise. They went 11-5. They won a playoff game and went to the divisional round. That's what this Chicago team feels like.
I think if you go back to the records and see like our preview show, I said I'd be happy if the Bears won 9. I'd be surprised if they won 10. Because this is me being optimistically, careful. New head coach,
playing in that division,
where all 4 teams could feasibly make the playoffs and maybe even win the division. I didn't think the Bears were going to be in that position to do so, but. Yeah, I mean, Johnson has the team playing well, and they're running the ball well. The key to this game is if they can run the ball against Green Bay, and whether or not they can get pressure on Love, because the Bears lead the world in takeaways. They have 3 of the top 5 interceptors in the NFL, and Jordan Love has the capability of just floating balls out there where they're incomplete against most of their teams. The Bears pick those balls off.
Yeah, so, Jordan Love, I'm not sold on him. I coming into the year, a lot of the ESPN chuckleheads were talking about him as an MVP candidate, and I was like, based on what? He has like 4 or 5 really good games a year, and then he has like 2 or 3 primetime games where he just absolutely pees down his leg. I just don't think he's. I don't think he's it.
I'd be interested to see, like, if we off camera, because this might take a minute, if you ranked all 32 starting quarterbacks, where he would fall. Like, I think he's probably top half. I don't know if he's top 10. I'd really have to think.
I'd have to think too. I'd put him on the fringes of like the top 10.
And that's still he's in the top third of the league. So I don't know where I'd put Caleb, and I don't know where I'd put Caleb in relation to Jordan Love.
Like right
I
off the
would
top
have
of
to
my head,
consider what's that?
right off the top of my head, I mean, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Stafford, Baker. I take all them. Dak. I take him. Mahomes. Uh, I'd take Goff before I took Love.
That's probably where I'd start to be like, because I'm with you on the top six. Um, like the level with Love, Williams, Bryce Young is actually having a nice year.
I
Um,
mean, May.
Daniel Jones, he's weird.
Uh, I mean, May has played himself into top 10. Jaden
They might be
Daniels,
an MVP.
yeah. Jaden Daniels, if he's healthy, is a top 10 guy.
Oh well, that's the thing. Like that's if you're healthy, and when he had his Final Four run last year, I was more irritated that people was like, oh, the Bears missed again, the Bears missed again, and my big thing with the Bears was always, it's coaching and personnel. The Bears have one of the best offensive lines in the league now. Caleb Williams isn't getting sacked as much, and he's improved. Amazing how that works when you have an offensive coach and an offensive line. How a quarterback plays better.
And
And people like Chris Canty who've played in the league, it's so this frustratingly irritating that like they don't see that.
and when you can run the ball the way that Chicago can and how it sets up play
So
action.
much pressure taken off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think Caleb does have happy feet though. And I told this to Doug, I said, I wonder if that first year hurt him more than anything, because when you get sacked 77 times, you don't handle the rush the same way. You know?
And he had that tendency at USC where he would sometimes have to throw or have to run for his life and then just heave it downfield or
And you
do it
can
himself.
do that in college in the Pac-10. Pac-10 is not the NFC North.
Yeah.
So, I guess the other big NFL story before we talk about the Eagles' big game on Monday, I don't know why this was the top story on ESPN, but Mike Tomlin's contract and whether Pittsburgh was going to extend him. They have till March to do this. But I thought it might be interesting if we had an early Mr. Smarty Pants. Tim, do you know the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers fired a head coach?
Well, obviously it's before Chuck Noll. I don't know.
It was before Chuck Noll. Amazing.
I don't know who the coach before Chuck Noll. He took over in like 69 or 68.
68 it was.
Okay.
Bill Austin was the guy's name.
Okay.
I wouldn't have known this. He was 2-11-1, ending his 3-year tenure there before Chuck Noll took over. The Steelers went from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Since 1969. That might be the most incredible streak in sports.
Yeah.
That to me, that might be better than the 56 game hitting streak. Can you imagine, like, a streak of not firing a coach since 1968?
Yeah, I mean, you just don't see that in sports, especially now, where I mean, you look at like even just like the Eagles, who've been successful since Andy Reid, and they've had Chip Kelly and Pat Shermer and Doug Peterson. Like that's a team that's been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 15 years, and they've gone through how many coaches?
That's the thing is, like, whoever is hired to coach the Browns is expected to make the playoffs next year, and probably win the Super Bowl the year after. Like that's where expectations are.
Like you're looking at Nick Sirianni is the reigning Super Bowl winning coach.
He's on the hot seat with you.
And he is conceivably on the hot seat, where if they have another meltdown like they did in 23, where they close out the season, they don't win the division, then they just phone it in a wild card game.
That was bad. They should win the division.
If that happens twice, though, in 3 years, I wouldn't be surprised if I woke up to the news that Sirianni was fired.
I'm with you. So, I mean, the way their season ends, like they have a tough game on Monday. They're out in LA. They play Jim Harbaugh's Chargers. I don't know. I thought I heard Jalen Carter might not be playing. He had like a leg thing. I wasn't sure if you heard about that.
No, I'd heard it's questionable if Carter will play. I haven't heard definitively about Herbert that he was supposed to practice this week, but it was up in the air whether he'd be able to go.
I'm checking the injury report. Jalen Carter is out for this game.
Oh,
Game status out. Marcus Epps, the safety, is questionable. Miles Hinton is questionable, which means they'll play. Lane Johnson is out. That's a big loss
yeah.
on offense. For the Chargers, Omarion Hampton might play. He hasn't played. One of my fantasy running backs actually killed my season. He's questionable. Herbert's questionable. I don't know what LP. LP means limited in practice.
Yeah.
Herbert was limited pretty much all week.
Yeah, because it's like basically what Aaron Rodgers was going through, except is it his hand or his wrist on his non-throwing hand?
Left hand, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just sort of it sounds like it's a pain management issue for Herbert, and just how much further risk you want to put him at.
If you're looking at the how do I put this? The level of game it is for both teams, I think it's probably bigger for the Chargers in terms of playoffs, where they are in the world. The Chargers are currently 5th, and it's a tenuous hold at 5th because they're tied with Indianapolis, Buffalo, only a game ahead of Houston. Whereas the Eagles are 3rd, and even with a loss, they probably don't drop out of the playoffs. But I mean, the NFC is tight.
And it gives the Eagles have a little breathing room just with Dallas having lost.
Yeah.
But just in terms of the narrative around the Eagles, another loss is going to really, just the negativity is going to snowball.
End the year, your final 4, you have 2 games with Washington and a game with Las Vegas. You should win those 3. It's the NFL. You never know. Then you go to Buffalo. That's going to be a big game.
Yeah, because who knows which Buffalo team you're going to get.
And Buffalo right now is on the outside looking in. They have 7. No, they're running the 7 seed. But Buffalo today, who does Buffalo have? They have the undefeated Bengals coming to town. So
the rejuvenated Bengals.
Yeah, that's a big game for them. They have other very winnable games: Cleveland, the Jets, the Brown. It's Cleveland. They're at New England. New England might rest people. Who knows? But let's see where your head is. Let's give you a chance. You're 11-1 after a tough Thursday, Friday.
Yes.
Last week.
And another tough Thursday this week. Because I texted you something like, I hate to say it, but Dallas is hot. Give me Dallas to beat the Lions. Womp womp.
Let's go through and see how you do. Seahawks are at the Falcons.
Seahawks.
The aforementioned undefeated rejuvenated Bengals are at the Bills.
I'm gonna hesitate, but give me the Bills.
Okay, I'm going to stop here for 1 second just so people understand what I'm saying with the undefeated Bengals. When we do our preseason picks, every year for some reason I can't give the Bengals fewer than 15 wins because of their offense.
The Bengals haven't lost in 2 seasons.
Yeah, they're the best football team ever.
Unprecedented.
So that's where that is. In another loser leaves town match, the Titans are at the Browns.
Oh, woof. Give me the Browns.
And just because they're at home, sure.
And Myles Garrett's going to make, someone's life miserable.
There you go. The Commanders are at the Vikings.
Give me the Vikings.
Another boring game, but two better teams at least. The Dolphins at the Jets.
Oh.
3 dogs in a row.
The Dolphins have been playing better, so I'll take the Dolphins.
Saints are at the Bucks. Bucks favored by 9 in that one. All of a sudden, a big game. The Colts are at the Jaguars.
That is a good game. And I'll tell you what. The Colts are kind of trending down, and Jacksonville's been playing really well. I'll take the Jags.
Ooh, I like it. Big rivalry game. Somebody's going to get hurt. Steelers are at the Ravens.
It's got to be the Ravens, right? Lamar Jackson's got to put it together here.
Eventually. Yeah. They're at home. I would pick Baltimore too, but what do I know? The Broncos are at the Raiders.
Broncos.
The Bears Packers at Green Bay.
I think the gravy train stops for Chicago. I think Green Bay wins.
The Rams are at the Cardinals.
Rams.
The Texans at the Chiefs. This is Sunday Night Football.
I love that Houston defense.
Indeed.
Give me Houston.
On the road. And Monday night, Philadelphia is out west at the Chargers.
You know, if I say it enough times in a row, it's bound to be true. Give me the Eagles.
There you go. There you go. So
maybe they'll score north of 20, you know.
We'll see how you do and go from there. We talked a little high school football, and I told you that I reached out to the principal at Southern Columbia. I don't know if you got my email or not, but Henry Hanoski used to play at Southern Columbia, and I was kind of hoping he would come on the show, and I was kind of hoping we could talk a lot so that we didn't have to talk about Michigan football. And, you know, the good news is we don't have to talk about Michigan football too much because college football was nuts yesterday. It should have led the show almost. But, you know, let's give Ohio their due. They came out with a big win in Ann Arbor and earned a spot in the Big Ten title game. Michigan did not look good offensively after the first quarter. And they didn't really look good in the first quarter.
Michigan started well between –
the first play was great. The first play, yeah.
Yes. And, you know –
it was actually pretty good too.
You know, a nice early lead, create a turnover, but, you know –
they couldn't capitalize, though.
Couldn't punch it in.
The second field goal, at that point, I got really nervous. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe win the game 9-3. It has to be a defensive game. But the Ohio offense was, you know, they're on point. They have the best wide receiver room in the nation. They have a guy who can throw the ball to them, an offensive line who could, you know, they have a really good offense. And you said yesterday that but before the Indiana game, Georgia might be the only team that can beat this team. And yeah. I don't know. Michigan didn't do it. And so now Michigan looking at a potential Citrus Bowl. I don't know if you saw this, where their potential opponents are either Vanderbilt or Texas. Do you have any preference? I know who I'd rather play.
I don't have a preference, and I think Michigan is at least a 7-point underdog to either.
I would rather play Texas.
Just because of Arch being a bit wonky?
No, I think they have I think they match up better with Texas. And honestly, with Vanderbilt, it's like playing basketball against your little brother. You can't win. If you win, you're the name, but if you lose, you lost to Vanderbilt. So,
yeah, playing Vanderbilt does feel like it would be like a credibility game for Vanderbilt to be like, look where our program's at. Like we, you know, have a strong season and finished with a Citrus Bowl win over Michigan.
If I'm the Citrus Bowl, I want Texas, Michigan because they're the two big names. They're going to draw a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you get, whether or not Vanderbilt's more deserving. And at the end of the day, I mean, these bowl games now, I don't know if that counts as a New Year's Six bowl. I don't know if it's on December 28th. I don't know when Michigan's going to play.
And who even knows who's going to suit up?
Yeah, that's the other thing. The way, and I had this. Where is this? Yeah, it's right here in the rundown. So goings on at Penn State. If you remember, it was last year, their backup quarterback transferred to Missouri right around this time. And Penn State was lining up. They were getting ready for the playoff. They were gonna win it all. And depending on who you talk to here in Pennsylvania, the way that college football's calendar works, it's completely broken. Whether or not people play in bowl games is one thing, whether they're going to the NFL, but whether they're getting into the portal or not.
Yeah.
Like the NCAA has a big problem with that. And that's what reminded me. It was named Tallarico, I think. Does that ring a bell?
Tallarico?
Who was the backup quarterback for Penn State last year?
I don't remember.
Went to Missouri. But anyway, Penn State fans got all up in arms because they lost an important cog in their offense because of the way the calendar works. And you said, like, who's playing in bowl games or not? Largely, these bowl games are just it's good for the team, whoever sticks around, to get practice. The game is
it's largely ceremonial anymore. But
last year, Michigan beat an Alabama team that you thought that was going to give you momentum going into this year.
Yeah, and also, you can't be mad at a kid for following the calendar the NCAA sets, to try to find a better situation for himself.
Well, it's not just the NCAA; it's these schools that have, there's enrollment issues. Like I looked up Penn State. Like, you have to be enrolled for second semester by it's like January 9th or something.
Yeah,
that's right in the middle of the playoffs. Now, obviously,
Right.
It doesn't matter to Penn State this year, but last year, if you're a team that expects to make the quarterfinal, semifinal, like if you're a backup on that team and you want to go play somewhere, but I don't know how you fix that. And you don't fix it by adding more playoff games, which is what a lot of other people I've seen in the news want to do.
I wish we could beam this conversation back in time to August so that past Max and past Tim could see us talking about Texas, the number one team in the country, preparing to possibly play in the Citrus Bowl.
And Penn State just,
And Penn State, the number two team in the country, their head coach is now wearing, a maroon polo down in Virginia.
Big news in Happy Valley is they signed Matt Campbell, who I think is the James Franklin of the Big 12. You look at his record against the top 25 and James Franklin's record against the top 25, it's about the same.
So, yeah, but doesn't it just feel like Penn State just biffed that hiring process?
I think Penn State
through.
I think that I understand. Like, you had to part ways with James. You had to. I mean, just the narrative around, you can't win a big. You weren't going to get around that. I think it was an emotional firing in the middle of the season. But then you look at Florida, and that seems to be what happened this year. LSU with Brian Kelly, that was the norm, or maybe they just started the trend. But
and you really have to think about. Yeah, you have to think about where the mindset of Penn State fans and players and anyone associated with the program in any way was in October, where they'd had that embarrassing. They lose to Oregon in prime time. Okay, whatever.
It was at Oregon. Okay,
yeah, it went to overtime. Great, but then you get embarrassed by UCLA, who just hired Coal Region product Bob Chesney as their next head coach. And then you lose to Northwestern at home. After the UCLA game, people were like, Franklin can't survive this, let alone a loss to Northwestern. So it's not necessarily even the timing of Penn State getting rid of Franklin when they did. It's just how at each turn it seems like people were, candidates were completely uninterested in the job.
And so here we go. So Cignetti says no. Which is Cignetti is an IUP guy, so he's a Pennsylvania guy. Penn State is a bigger brand than Indiana. Let's get that straight.
He essentially uses Penn State as a bargaining chip to sign a huge contract.
$1 or something like that. Good for him. The coach at BYU, I don't know his name off the top of my head, he entertained the fact, but then the CEO of Crumble Cookies comes in with a big paycheck for BYU to keep him. And then James Franklin eating Crumble Cookies on recruiting day, on signing day, was just like another hi, Happy Valley from him, which is, I guess it's his right to do.
Yeah.
But Penn State had a really bad signing day. I think they only signed 2 kids.
And they've had decommits, a lot of decommits.
The big one here, I guess, in the mid-pen, Kevin Brown, the monster tackle from Harrisburg, went to West Virginia. And I guess a lot of fans from on the message boards or on social media were like, well, he's just following his coach. And I won't post on a newspaper site under my Facebook page just because I don't want to get into it with people. But I wanted to tell the guy, James Franklin went to Virginia Tech, which is on a different campus than West Virginia, but whatever.
They're entirely different states.
Clearly. But he followed him out.
Do they all drink moonshine? Of course. But entirely different programs.
I saw I don't know what it's called. I saw Virginia Tech Stadium though. I was doing a photo shoot or a video commercial for a company in Blacksburg. There are Hokies all over Blacksburg, like these statues. Like down, instead of having parking meters, they have Hokies, all different colors. It's weird to see, but I don't know why I said that. It's just there.
Just fun little trivia.
Little tidbit there. So let's talk some of the big stuff that went on yesterday, starting with I don't know if you want to start with the Big 12. I think you texted me. Since I woke up at 5 a.m, I was asleep. I woke up and Tim talking. He wants BYU to win. It's 35-7. I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah, it was a good game in the first half, and then Texas Tech just. Yeah, it was 13-7, and then Texas Tech just kept creating turnover after turnover, and the wheels just fell off for BYU, and it just snowballed on them. But that I hadn't heard a ton about the Texas Tech defense. They play some big boy defense. That's a good team.
Good team out of the Big 12. 4 o'clock was a heavyweight knockout rock'em sock'em rivalry now. Georgia, Alabama, and if you ask Big Jake's take, he once again hates the coaching staff because Alabama, like you even said, they look like they were just kind of dead in the water. They don't know if they showed up or not. And put that strictly on coaching.
Yeah, Alabama, it just looked like they were punching out of their weight class. At no point did it seem like they were in that game. And I truly felt like they were going to get shut out.
No, they put points on the board early in the fourth. But, yeah, I was with you. I didn't think they – I watched a little bit of the game on my phone in the car waiting for Derek to come back from Eastern York. But I was only getting, score updates. It didn't look good. And when I got home, I think I saw the last 7 or 8 minutes of the game, and Georgia really felt like they were in control the whole time. The night games, though, were pretty wild. We'll start in the Big Ten, our conference. I told you before the game, I didn't think Indiana had a shot. I'm in this weird 1990s mindset where Indiana is Indiana, and I thought Ohio was going to win by 20. That was not the case. Indiana's offense.
They gave the country a blueprint for how to beat Ohio State, and particularly how to just slow that offense.
Well, I mean, how do you beat Ohio State is you get a little lucky because Ohio State in the red zone was terrible. A turnover, a missed field goal, a turnover on downs where Sayan's knee was down. So
that's been par for the course for Ohio State, though, where they struggle in short yardage and they struggle inside the 20. We saw it against Michigan. But playing between the 20s, that Ohio State offense can play with anybody. But yeah, when they, third and short, fourth and goal, whatever it is, it seems like they really struggle there.
I want to go back and at least wrong button there, dummy. I want to look at the numbers here. Team stats. What was the time of possession? And you know what? I'm actually surprised. The time of possession, Ohio State won by 13 seconds. It was that even.
Yeah.
Penalties, not a big deal. I thought Indiana ran the ball better than I guess they got 118 yards. It was Ohio that just didn't run the ball as well. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
This was for a 13-10 game, you expect it to be really close. It was Ohio on third down versus Indiana on third down. That seems to be the big play there. Plus, Ohio struggles in the red zone.
Now, I'm curious what you think this does to the Heisman race.
Ooh, yeah, because that's another thing. I hadn't thought about that. Wow. I think. Who's the Indiana quarterback?
Fernando Mendoza.
I think he may get some love. Julian Sand had just an incredible year, and it's not like he had a bad game.
I think Sayan had the better year between the two. I don't have their stats in front of me. This is purely the eyeball test. And I
Yeah,
saw Ohio State play more often than I did Indiana, but I think Sayan had the better year. You'd hate to see a kid, even if he does play for Ohio State, get dinged for one game that, it wasn't. It's not like he went out there and threw 4 picks or something like that.
the current betting odds, Julian Sand is plus 50,000. I don't. That seems pretty bad. He's behind Jeremiah Love, Diego Pavia, and Fernando Mendoza. Mendoza is actually the favorite, which, I mean, I before I looked any of this up, I would have probably guessed Julian Sand was the front runner. Quarterback, really good season, number 1 team. Checks all the boxes.
I mean, when the voting goes down for the Heisman, Indiana is going to be the number 1 team in the country.
Well, I think they vote. They start the voting now.
Right, because the ceremony is like
in 2 weeks or so. But the
ceremony is usually about like a week before Christmas.
Yeah. So that's an interesting question, and one I hadn't thought of. The other interesting thing that we have to worry about today in about 1 hour and 53 minutes, the selection show is going to come on, and you wanted chaos yesterday. You asked for it. You wanted this with BYU. But what you really got was, I mean, I said we woke up in 1985. I think we woke up in 1992, and it's college basketball season because Indiana is number 1 in the Big Ten, and Duke is number 1 in the ACC. And wow, you talked about cojones on Alabama last week. The cojones on, was it Manny Diaz? Oh, baby. I mean, you talk about nothing to lose, and he coached like it, and the ACC has created a big problem as Duke is your ACC champ.
And we very possibly have a scenario now where James Madison, you talk about 1985, it's like 1785. James Madison's in the national conversation.
Well, let's put it up on the board here. So,
or Tulane,
the worldwide leader, put their predictions up. So I was talking to Jake on the phone yesterday, and I said, well, maybe Alabama doesn't care about this one because they think they're already in. And he's like, no, 3-loss team, no. Well, here it is. The worldwide leaders picks James Madison, their coach right now, the aforementioned Bob Chesney. Is expected to stay with the Dukes through this potential playoff run, unlike the whole Lane Kiffin situation down there in the 11-6, which we could have led the whole show off with what's going on there. Coach Diaz is actually lobbying for both Duke and Miami to get in, as you see Notre Dame there at the 9, lost the head-to-head to the Hurricanes. So I don't know if this is good, bad, or just nothing for college football with their 12-team playoff. I don't think anybody expects James Madison to compete with Oregon. Oregon's probably a 40-point favorite in that one. And is that what you want to see in a playoff game?
I think this is tremendous for college football.
As a Michigan guy, me too, because I know Michigan's not making it. So, yeah, put James Madison in. Why not? I said the same thing about TCU back when we were doing, like, the Final Four. Like, yeah, put TCU in. They deserve it. Put Liberty in. Why not?
I mean, James Madison, Oregon. I mean, this has potential for like Princeton, Georgetown, or like this is the kind of stuff you don't get in major college football that you get. It's why people love the NCAA tournament. And I get that upsets are a little easier in basketball because one player can control the action a little more readily than in football. Yeah. But still, if James Madison is even remotely competitive in a national playoff game, what a story that would be. I mean, think of how exciting it was when Arizona State was competitive with Texas last year and how everyone was like suddenly the biggest Sun Devil fan in the world.
Arizona State, though, I think has just a different feel as a Power 5 conference team versus I couldn't tell you where James Madison is geographically.
I mean, James Madison had been one double A for the longest time because they were national champions, like a powerhouse, one double A.
Okay.
So this is like if Bucknell were in the field.
If James Madison can play up to FCS, then Southern Columbia can play up to 5A.
Yeah, come on, PIAA. This is proof that Southern should be in 4 or 5A.
Exactly. No, I think that James Madison. The Tulane Ole Miss game, I think, is more intriguing for me because of the Kiffin situation. And I know less about Tulane than I know about James Madison. I think that's going to the line on that one might be a little bit less than 40. I think Ole Miss is probably favored by 25, if I had to guess. We'll see what the opening lines come out when the selection show is on. The game I'm looking at right now, though, is a Final Four game, Ohio and Georgia, and that's going to be a wow. That would be a good game, unless you get a weird upset. Unless the Alabama A&M winner knocks off Ohio.
Yesterday's results notwithstanding, I still think Ohio and Georgia is like national championship game caliber.
The de facto championship game down on the bottom of the bracket. Well, we're gonna find out. What I say, noon today. We'll see how close ESPN got with their prediction.
Can you imagine being a player at college football blue blood Miami? And you're watching the selection show and they say James Madison instead of your school?
Well, I think the bigger thing, and this goes back to the rivalry they had in the 80s, seeing Notre Dame there. When you beat them head-to-head and essentially have the same record.
Yeah. Miami, they've got a legitimate beef here.
But, I mean, you win you say you win the games on your schedule. They did to an extent. I
mean, look, Miami beat a really good Notre Dame team. They beat
BYU
Florida.
Has a beef. I mean, look at BYU has 2 losses, and right now ESPN has Alabama. Now this is just projection. Now this is not the actual tournament. You have a 2-loss Hurricane team, a 2-loss BYU team, and you're looking at Alabama there with 3 losses. How fair is that?
I think Miami has a more legitimate gripe than BYU does, though, because you can't go into your – and I know this gets into the point of, being penalized for making your conference championship game, but you can't go into your conference championship game and lose by 4 touchdowns. Yeah. And then expect to hear good news the next day.
Miami's 2 losses were not really good. I mean, Louisville had an average year. SMU had a good year for them, but not compared to last year. But like you said, the conference tournament, we talked about this last week. Do you want to have conference championship games? Does it matter when you have these massive conferences that have 16 teams? You don't even play each other the whole time. I don't know.
What do you think would have happened to Indiana if they'd lost yesterday? Obviously, they'd still be in the field, but do they lose out on a first-round bye?
Last week, it was Ohio 1, Indiana 2. I think they definitely dropped at least to 4. I think the committee looks at Indiana versus Texas Tech. I think Indiana gets the 4, and you're looking at a potential Ohio-Indiana rematch in the Final Four.
Yeah, just looking at the rest of the fields, I think
how they lost. If Ohio beat them 16-13, I mean, if it was by 4 touchdowns, then maybe they drop to 5 and they get the Dukes. But in a home game, by the way, yes, it's James Madison traveling to Autzen right now. Maybe the line's 50. I don't know.
Yeah, like just the absurdity of that is exactly the brand of chaos I wanted.
And here we are. So we'll see. Couple hour and 45 minutes. This was going to be a quick hitter, but I'm going to throw this in. We're going to just talk because Sonny Gray has kind of rekindled the Red Sox Yankee rivalry. I don't know if you saw this, but Sonny Gray signed with Boston this week.
Yeah, and
he came out and he laid into New York. He never wanted to be there. He didn't like it. And I'll tell you what, I think that's great for baseball.
Yeah, and it's funny because I hadn't seen. I saw that the Sox brought him in to kind of bolster the rotation, but I hadn't seen the comments. But
Oh,
um,
oh,
yeah, I'll take anything that makes a rivalry extra spicy.
let's see this. Sonny Gray 3 days ago. It's easy to hate the Yankees. He's happy to be there. He's talking about the Yankees. It's not a good situation for me or my family. I never wanted to go there in the first place. Um, it's easy to hate them. So I'll tell you what, I was kind of excited when he showed up in New York because he was supposed to be a good pitcher, and we made a trade to get him there, and he just wasn't it. I mean, some people can pitch in New York and some people can't. So when he takes the mound in Yankee Stadium in mid-July or early August or whatever it's going to be, he's going to get hammered. It might be worse than Soto, and I'm here for it because that's the kind of stuff that gets you through the summer, I think.
If I'm sensing a theme in any of what we're saying, it's that we just love chaos. We
A little bit. I mean, it's easier. Chaos in July is easier because, all right, I mean, it's a July game.
I want normalcy in my regular life and chaos in my sports.
There you go. Sticking with New York, I mean, the other thing that came out that this needs to be talked about because it's every year with this guy. Hal Steinbrenner came out and said, "Don't be surprised if we decrease payroll." This is a guy who they just gave Trent Grisham $22 million, and they want to decrease payroll now. And I don't know how you can do it. I mean, some of the guys they have under, I think that's his way of saying, we're not going on getting Kyle Tucker. If Bellinger signs elsewhere, don't be surprised.
Is Steinbrenner just trying to get Yankee fans to recalibrate their expectations here? Because it was always what's that?
Every year he talks about the payroll, and he came out and Michael Kay was on his show, and I guess Steinbrenner did a press conference, and Kay said that Steinbrenner was upset that there's not more competitive balance. He is honestly concerned that not all teams can win. Honestly, should he care about Miami or Pittsburgh? The answer is no.
No.
The only people that should care about Miami or Pittsburgh are Miami and Pittsburgh.
And the league office. If you want to talk about competitive balance, that's the league's problem.
Well, then just get off your ass and make a salary cap, and that'll do it. And make the salary cap so ridiculous. Make it $50 million total. Then what? Then the players. Then you'll see. You're going to see labor issues later this month at the meetings, I'm sure. But make a ceiling, make a floor, and then get rid of all this deferred stuff, and then maybe. But I mean, as far as competitive balance goes, outside of the Dodgers going back to back, we hadn't seen a back to back champ since the '90s, and you've had teams like Texas and Arizona and Kansas City be competitive.
Seattle's
been great, yeah. So
Toronto.
I get so bent out of shape when Steinbrenner talks money, and it's always pointed at LA. He's they're willing to spend money. He's not. But he is spending. They offered Soto $700 million. I don't know what else they can do. They're crying poor, which drives me nuts.
You know why Oakland and Pittsburgh and Miami aren't competitive? Because ownership does not care to be competitive. They don't want to spend the money.
I mean, the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, what's his net worth? Owner Pirates. Bob Nutting.
And the Nutting family is notoriously cheap.
Woo! $2.1 billion.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I mean it's billions of dollars. So that's that. The other thing, I mean, speaking of the Yankees and Juan Soto went to the Mets. Devin Williams signed with the Mets apparently, and apparently this was a big deal. When he moved to the Yankees, another guy didn't want to be there, I guess. He never changed any of his socials. You know how that's a big thing, like pitcher, New York Yankees.
Yeah.
He never changed any of it, but the day he signed with the Mets, that was the first thing that happened. All of his socials changed. And I guess that's like a big thing in the world. I don't follow him on Instagram, but apparently he made like this post that said, all of you are you're in my DMs now. Y'all are sure mad. And I decided, I went on Instagram and I looked. That post wasn't there. So again, I don't know if that's the media just making things up. But really, what Devin Williams' legacy in New York is going to be, outside of the worst ERA in his career, is he had them get rid of the beard policy. That was it.
Yeah, and I
just see him go.
I encounter this a lot, like with AJ Brown, where like he'll post something on social media and everyone will be like, "Oh, did you see like AJ Brown like posted a Bible verse, and it could mean that he's not getting enough targets." And it's like, I don't care, because I'm not like running for junior high homecoming. Like, I don't care about this drama.
I'm more interested. I like the fact that Sonny Gray comes out and says it's easy to hate the Yankees. I don't like the whole Devin Williams thing, because the Mets feel like little brother. The Red Sox feel like, the neighbor across the street that's like your equal. That's how it's, as a Yankee fan, that's how it feels. I saw people online saying, well, we should sign Pete Alonso. You should sign Pete Alonso if you think he's going to help the team. If you think Ben Rice is it, then you don't sign Pete Alonso.
You don't throw tens of millions of dollars at a guy just to troll your crosstown rival.
Just to show your crosstown rival. Yeah, that's absolute ridiculousness. But, I mean, worth talking about the offseason, the hot stove. I think this week is a winter meeting, so we'll see how things go. All right, quick hitter time.
Woo!
All right, ready. We have 7 of them. All right, number 1.
All right.
Basketball for you. Kevin Durant drilled a 10-foot jumper with 6:15 remaining on Friday night to become the 8th player in NBA history to reach 31,000 career points. He's now 368 behind Wilt, as you can see on the screen, 509 behind Dirk on the all-time list. Odds are he passes them by the All-Star break. Probably passes Michael this year as well. Question, though, is he's under contract through 27-28. How high on this list do you think Durant ends up?
He's not going to pass Malone, but he could conceivably pass Kobe.
So 4 is the okay.
I think that's his ceiling.
That's fair. We'll kind of track how he's doing as the year goes on. Number 2, we talked about this before the show a little bit. The World Cup draw was released. The U.S. is in Group D, along with Paraguay, Australia, and UEFA Playoff C, who is presumably better than Playoff D, but not as good as Playoff A or B. According to the worldwide leader, if you're the United States, you couldn't ask for a better draw than this. They predicted that the U.S. would win this unless the highest-ranked playoff team was Turkey, and then Turkey would win this. Your thoughts on the World Cup draw? Do you care?
I love watching the World Cup, and every 4 years I don't know anything about what the U.S. national team will look like or what their prospects are, and then it gets to be like July, and suddenly I'm an instant expert. Where I'm like, oh boy, they need to make a switch it back. This defense is too leaky. And then it becomes like August, and I'm like, what's soccer? Is that the ball that's not quite round?
It's I got nothing. Good. Number 3. The results of the 2026 Contemporary Baseball Era Committee vote are going to be announced today, 7:30 p.m. on MLB Network, live streamed on the Hall of Fame's Facebook page and YouTube pages. The 8 players on the ballot: Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, Fernando Venezuela, some guy named Don Mattingly. Does anybody get in today?
Of those names, I think the most likely is Dale Murphy.
Ah, okay.
I don't think they're ready to forgive and forget with the steroid guys.
Earlier this week, I think it was Tuesday, but I'm not sure, both Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon admitted on national television that neither had ever played with or even held a Lego. Is there anything embarrassing you want to admit on national video right now?
I've never seen 1 second of any of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah. No,
I've held a Lego, though.
if there were Legos in front of me right now, I'd be playing with them. I would hang up and I would be building something.
How about this? Lego minifig Yankee player. Number 5. Joe DiMaggio Lego. Who
We know
doesn't
it's
want
not
one of
Sonny
those on their
Gray.
desk? I guess Sonny Gray. I love it. All right, here we go. This one is kind of out of whack. I saw a TikTok video where this guy said he was talking to his friend, and he said he couldn't be paid enough money to root for certain sports teams. Now, the Ted DiBiase and me disagrees. Everybody's got a price. So I was wondering what your price would be to root for the following teams. And I'm talking like you've got to root for them full out, gear, the whole nine. You no longer root for your current team.
I can only think of 2 that are hard passes.
Oh, okay, here we go. How much would it cost you to disown the Philadelphia Eagles and root for the Carolina Panthers?
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Cowboys.
Well, there's more than one on the list.
Okay. The Panthers.
Cowboys are letter F. We'll get there.
I would miss the Eagles, but the Panthers are harmless enough.
But they're bad, and they're always bad. You're going to root for a poor team.
They need me. I need to be needed. Like a cool million.
1 million, that's it. Wow, you're a cheap date. The Anaheim Angels.
Oh boy. I've been to their stadium. I've been out to Anaheim.
Anaheim's nice.
It is the rocks in the outfield with the water and everything. I could be persuaded to root for the Angels. It would be tough to catch some of their games in Pennsylvania, though.
So I'm saying you got to stay up late every night.
Yeah, that's tough. The time zone is a deterrent. I'm going to say 4 million.
4 million. Okay. The Sacramento Kings.
Oh, boy,
get rid of the history of the Celtics, and you get the history of the Kings.
That is a bleak existence. And that's also a West Coast. I do have NBA League Pass, though, already, so that's a plus. They have some, like, DeMontis Sabonis is a fun watch. I'd say like 4 to 5 million.
Now it's 4 to 5 million. Okay. And now it gets a lot tougher. The New York Yankees.
So that's not one of the 2 hard passes, believe it or not.
I have a Lego for you.
Throw in. Here's the thing, like, like growing up, we went to like a bunch of Yankee games, and like even as a Red Sox fan, I had the Lou Gehrig shirt, and I really like Lou Gehrig. So at least if you're making that swap, you're swapping for a team with some history behind it, a lot of history behind it. But it is tough to stomach as a Red Sox fan. I'm gonna say 15 million.
15. Okay, excellent. All right, the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's a similar thing where, like, I respected the hell out of Magic Johnson growing up, even though, like, that was when the rivalry in my lifetime anyway was at its peak. And like even now, like, I love to watch Luka. It's been great watching Austin Reeves progress into what he's become. So I'd put that around the same as the Yankees, like a 20 million range.
Oh, 20 million. Okay.
Is that what I said for the Yankees? I can't remember.
15.
Oh, 15 then. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go 50. I mean, this is all, I don't have this money for you, so.
Look, I'm not the nutting family. I'm not stockpiling my riches.
All right. Second to last one, Dallas Cowboys.
Not enough money.
Oh, there absolutely is. Come on.
$1 billion. Jerry would have to give me his whole net worth.
Virgil is coming with, the hundreds, and he's got all day.
If Jerry Jones gives me his entire net worth.
Jerry Jones net worth. Let's look this up. Wow, that's amazing. $21.9 billion.
There you go. And I don't want to bankrupt the man. I'll just take 21 billion.
With 900K or 900 million.
Yeah, I'm not greedy.
Nice. And finally, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Similar. They were the 2 hard stops for me. So if Jerry Jones gives me $21 billion, I'd become an Ohio State fan.
21 billion. So I thought about this, and I think this is a good answer. Let's see here. So they have 60,000 students. So what does it cost to go to Ohio State? 58,000 a year. So if you took 58,860, that's the out-of-state tuition to go to Ohio State, and you multiply that by their enrollment, which it says often over 60,000. So we'll just call it 60,000. I don't know what this number is.
300 million does it come to?
It's 3.5316 E9. Does that mean there's 9 zeros?
So wait, it was $50,000 by 60,000 students, which is going to give you 10 zeros. So it's going to be 30 with 10 zeros.
Okay, so I'm writing this out here. So there's a comma there, a comma there, a comma there. That's $300 billion.
I'd take it.
Yeah.
And then I'd buy the Pirates and I'd make them competitive.
Yeah, as Ted DiBiase said, everybody's got a price, including me. To root for Ohio State, it would cost $300 billion. Yeah,
Actually,
and you know what?
I think the Cowboys would be more than Ohio State, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think that. As I looked at this, like the Panthers, Angels, and Kings, we put on there just because they're just. I don't expect them to ever be competitive ever again in our lifetimes. And like you're rooting for, it's like rooting for the Jets in a small market West Coast. But then like the rivals, I have so much Yankee stuff in here. It would probably cost a couple million just to replace it with Red Sox stuff. And I like blue as a color. I don't like red as a color.
Rooting for the Panthers is not the same as the Jets in my mind, because at least the Jets have like a passionate fan base.
Yeah. You got the
Panthers for the entirety of their existence, except for the Delhomme years, and briefly the Cam Newton years. It's mostly an apathetic fandom.
Yeah. So, all right, good time there with Ted DiBiase. Today in history, obviously a rather large day in American history. 84 years ago today, the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor. Would it surprise you to actually know that I met and interviewed a serviceman who was at Pearl Harbor that day?
That would not surprise me.
His name is Captain Lester Stone. There he is on the board. And he was a resident of Penn National Retirement here in the Chambersburg area. And when I was doing multimedia, we did this thing called My Life Video Biography. And someone wanted him to. So I sat with him for 2 hours and he told me stories. He was a big painter, but he was at Pearl Harbor. There's a shot of Pearl Harbor the day of the bombing. And it was wild to hear him recount that, because honestly, our big main events in our life, like I can tell you exactly where I was on September 11th back in 1941. Like that's their big deal.
Yeah. And can I, it's funny that you bring up this day in history. I have 2 items for you if you'll indulge me.
Oh, absolutely.
So the first one is today is Larry Bird's 69th birthday.
Nice.
Did you have that queued up knowing that he's December 7th, 56?
That was the final quick hitter, the birthday of your favorite athlete, the magical age of 69.
Larry Joe Bird.
Nice.
And also yesterday was the 100th anniversary of the Pottsville Maroons winning the NFL title over the Chicago Cardinals.
I did not know that.
At Old Comiskey Park. And do you know how people in Pottsville got updates on the game in 1925?
Was it radio?
They set up, local businessmen in Pottsville set up a telegraph system from Chicago to Pottsville, and people from Pottsville like huddled together in the old Hippodrome Theater in Main Street in Pottsville. And they would do like play-by-play, run for 3 yards, in Morse code. And then some guy on stage at the Hippodrome Theater would be like, run for 3 yards. And everyone would like, ooh and ah. And that's how they followed along with the game being played in Chicago.
That's absolutely incredible.
And then the NFL went and robbed them of their title.
Oh.
Justice for the Breaker Boys.
Seriously. But yeah, there it is. Happy birthday, Larry, and happy anniversary, Pottsville.
Yeah. The kings of the coal region.
The Maroons. We've reached one of our favorite times of the day. It is Soup and Meatball Draft Day. What are we drafting today? I forget.
We are drafting active players who we feel will have great careers in broadcasting when they're done playing.
So active players, not like past super like awesome high school players like you and I, even though we've transitioned quite well to the media.
Right, like ducks to water. But no, I'm just looking in the pro ranks.
Okay. Current pros who are really good at being an analyst. I need a number and a color.
4 black.
2, 3, 4 is the Marshall Plan of 1948. As World War II ended in 1945, Europe was in ruins. There's a lot of text here. I'm not going to read this all. George Marshall proposed that the U.S. provide economic assistance to European nations for reconstruction. So the Marshall Plan is the 4 of hearts. So you lose out on the top pick. And I think that's
George
probably
Marshall.
I think that's probably okay. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of overlap here. And this is largely just me. This is like me guessing a lot because I don't know what these guys are like personally. And to be a good analyst, I think you have to have a big personality.
Yeah.
So because of that, and I tried to go cross sports here. He already. This might be cheating because he already does it. I'm going to go with Travis Kelce because he's got a big personality to him, and he's got the goofy mustache and facial hair thing, and people like him. The whole Taylor Swift thing. I think he would bring an audience, but I also think he's smart enough that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he was on my list because it just seems like a natural. His brother's already doing it.
Yeah, well, they have that podcast. That I don't listen to podcasts, but
they have the podcast. He has the, brand recognition, if you want to call it that, from dating a certain singer. Her name escapes me.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's cheating or not because he's already doing it, but he's an active player, so he made my list.
No, that's not cheating at all. And I'm glad you didn't take my number one, who's the person who inspired me to suggest this, and that is Mr. Jameis Winston.
Wow.
Because I was talking to someone about him, and what I said to my friend was that he could be the NFL's Charles Barkley if he goes into he's just naturally funny and charismatic. Obviously knows the game very well. Heisman Trophy winner, has been in the NFL now for 12 years or so.
He's in a big market now, so he understands that. He spent most of his career in. I don't want to say. Was he a Panther? He wasn't a Panther. What the heck was he?
He was a Buck. He played in Tampa.
Okay, it's not as big as New York, obviously, but
because he had that season where he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
Nice. There you go. I don't know enough about. I don't hear enough sound bites from him to be able to compare him to Charles. But if that's what you're thinking, then sure.
Yeah, because this week he put out a video that was kind of poking fun at his scandal in college where he stole the crab legs at Florida State. Just a guy with a good sense of humor about himself, kind of like Chuck.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna go in that same realm because I looked for a football player. And I Googled funniest football player because I don't know. And I came up with a defensive tackle for the Las Vegas Raiders named Christian Wilkins. And I Googled him, and he's a big dude. I mean, he is 6'4", 300 something. So he's got a presence to him. He's a good looking guy. He's got some crazy hair that I think visually would work on TV. And I don't know if he's funny or not, but I was looking for the Charles Barkley.
So worst case scenario, you get like another Booger McFarland who's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, I don't find Booger funny or entertaining.
You'd think a guy who goes by the name Booger would be funny.
Booger, yeah. winning a burp contest in a movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. You took a tight end, so I'm gonna go with a tight end and a guy who's just like he just seems like a real oddball, but like in a good way, and that's George Kittle.
Oh, now you know what? Now I feel terrible. I didn't even think about George Kittle. I watched the Netflix show Tight Ends or wide receivers. It was called Wide Receivers, but George Kittle was part of it.
Yeah,
He is one of my favorites. Oh, he would be tremendous. Absolutely
yeah.
tremendous. He should have been the top pick.
Like he's the kind of guy who like what Fox. I don't even know if they still do it, but where they have like Rob Riggle do like little bits like on their pregame show. I would actually watch George Kittle do bits.
Oh, so would I. So would
Yeah.
I. George Kittle he has such a personality to him. Oh
And
wow.
it feels genuine with George Kittle. Like
Oh, no,
sometimes it feels like it's like a calculated thing. He just seems like a
absolutely.
guy who is just like a little goofy, a little askew.
Yeah. So that's a tremendous pick. That's I'm going to put a star next to him. That's the winner right there. So for number 3, for me, I will switch sports. And what's weird is when I looked up baseball players, I wanted to find the smart ones because listening to Alex Rodriguez talk about hitting, it's amazing to me.
It's one of the things that endears him to me more than anything is just hearing him like break down like recognizing a curveball out of the pitcher's hand, like just little
watching the video. Like I watched the video that they did like 2 separate interviews with Greg Maddux and Barry Bonds talking about this at bat. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff baseball needs. So I looked up who the smartest baseball players were, and I wasn't surprised to see this guy because he's played a lot of different positions. He's played in big markets. He is one of the best players in the league, and he's good looking. He checks all the boxes.
You're going to take – yeah. Did you say Mookie Betts?
Mookie Betts.
Yeah. He's my next pick.
Not anymore, he's not.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I agree. Just for all the reasons you said, too. You know, a guy who's played at a very high level. In interviews, he's great. He's very engaging. And you just get the sense that he could be almost like Jimmy Rollins, who I think is really good on the panel shows. Like, I feel like Mookie Betts could be another Jimmy Rollins.
A guy that could break down a 2-1 slider that you'd be like, oh, that's why he threw that.
Right. And but not put you to sleep while he's doing it. Like,
yeah.
to be engaging. Yeah.
That's classic Krusty. We're now talking about collective bargaining agreements.
I'm going to take I'm going to think a little outside the box here. I'm going to go baseball, and I'm going to take this guy again because he's a bit of an oddball, but also he seems very unfiltered. Joe Kelly, like a guy who can on the mound like taunt hitters or throw at hitters or almost start fights just walking back to his own dugout. Like, can you imagine him calling games and just letting fly with whatever thought comes into his head?
I think with the Joe Kelly, you'd need to have like. Didn't we have this idea that we should put football games on HBO and have like a fan of one team and a fan of the other team just like yelling at each other?
Yeah.
That would be that could put baseball on the map. You know, that's not a terrible idea. I like that.
Joe Kelly could be quite the provocateur.
Yeah, I mean, he's not quite like John Rocker, but he's off his rocker a little.
Right. Yeah, he's not going to go on a racist rant. Let's hope. But
don't have to worry too much about him.
Yeah, I think he's a guy who and how old is Joe Kelly now? He's in his 30s.
He is 37.
Yeah, so like a guy like that, you know, you're looking at either going into like coaching or broadcasting. So Joe Kelly, if you're watching, and I know you're a longtime fan, just consider maybe the broadcasting.
I'll tell you what, you want to know something about Joe Kelly?
Yes.
Joseph Winston Kelly Jr. was born on December 11th, 1964, so he's got a birthday coming up.
Wait, did you say 64?
1964, yeah. No, wait, once. That can't be right.
No, I was going to say he's 8 years younger than Larry Bird.
He was the MLB. There was a different Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly, the MLB pitcher, was born on June 9th, 1988.
That sounds much plausible.
Oh my god! Thank you AI for making me look dumb. What is because the question was, what is Joe Kelly's full name? Joseph Winston Kelly was an American former professional football player who played linebacker. So that Joe Kelly was born on December 11th.
Well, early happy birthday to former American football linebacker Joe Winston Kelly.
Who played for the aforementioned undefeated Bengals, the Jets, Raiders, Rams, Packers, and he was an Eagle in 1996. So,
hey, 96. That was like the tail end of the Ray Rhodes era. Ugh.
Oh, the funny stuff you find on Super Meatballs. All right, my number 4. I'm going to take a guy who's in the biggest media market, who is a smart guy. I tried to find guys who I think would look good on camera, who would talk well, and because he's a point guard, he runs the offense. Give me Jalen Brunson.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't know where he would fit in the world of basketball with guys like Chuck and Shaq and like those big personalities, but we're going to build a competitorship, and he'll be like our Kenny Smith.
See, my only thing with Brunson is he's always seemed like a little like soft spoken.
I think you coach that out of him, and you let him, because Kenny's kind of soft spoken too. He's compared to the other two, but you give him some coaching. I think he's good.
And I mean, you're right, because when you talk about who make the best either broadcasters or coaches in basketball, it tends to be point guards.
They're smart guys. Have the ball in their hand at all times.
Yeah, baseball, it's either pitchers or catchers usually, and then I don't know if it's automatically quarterbacks, but they tend to get the big broadcasting contracts anyway.
Yeah, they're the most recognizable, so it makes sense. It's rare. You get like the Chris Cantys, or like you said, the Booger McFarlands. They're the analysts at 5:35 on SportsCenter. They're going to get like a 2-minute pop, and
so I find myself going back to football, maybe just because there are so many guys. Each team has 53 guys, so just
bigger pool to choose from.
And I'm going to go with a gentle giant who I think has a unique perspective on American football and also has a gorgeous tenor singing voice. And that would be Jordan Mailata of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, wow.
He's got that kind of like that Kiwi New Zealander sense of humor, doesn't seem to take himself too seriously. And he came to the game late in life. So I think he just has that kind of perspective of, he was a rugby guy who got drafted and they were like, all right, he's a project. And then he ends up being a Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowl type guy.
I'm amazed when I hear stories about like these D1 football players. Like, I started playing football as a junior in high school. Wow. Like, yeah. So you learned all that technique in 3 years, and like you're an All-American as a sophomore. Like, come on.
Or like when you hear about a guy like Akeem Olajuwon, who's like a generational talent, and he didn't start the game until he was a teenager in Nigeria.
And if you use the mentality that iron sharpens iron, like, who's he playing against in Nigeria? Like, he's 7 feet tall, playing with a bucket. Like, who's challenging him?
I think that. Do you remember the 90s movie The Air Up There, where Kevin Bacon plays a basketball coach who goes to Africa trying to like find like tall guys to teach him?
I remember the movie. I didn't see it out. Maybe if it was on like Fox on Sunday at 4, maybe I fell asleep to it. But I do know the movie you're talking about. Was that about him?
Well, I believe it's like loosely inspired by
him.
Like someone was like, wait, this Olajuwon guy was 6'10" and just playing in in Lagos, Nigeria, and just happened to be discovered. Like, and so that was like the jumping off point for.
I saw a TikTok video about Georgetown basketball, about the introduction of Dikembe Mutombo, and how like the first game he played, I guess, was he behind Morning, or
he was ahead of Morning?
Whoever,
because it went Ewing, Mutombo, Morning.
Was he playing with Ewing at the same time? Maybe
he would have been like
Or are they on the same team?
Ewing came out in the 85 draft.
So is he on the team in 84?
I don't think he was on the 84 team. I don't think Mutombo came out until the 89 or 90 draft. Okay. So I don't know if Ewing overlapped.
whatever, the guy in front of him was in foul trouble, and Mutombo wasn't expected to start his first game. He comes out and gets 12 blocks and is just like all over the place. So, like, another guy that you think of in terms of, like, where'd this guy come from?
Yeah.
As far as Mailata goes, I mean, again, with a lineman, I think that the side, like the big guys, I think they have a good draw on TV. We're like Howie Long had the flat top going for him, but he slimmed down. He wasn't as big and mean anymore. Booger's still a big guy. I think that plays well on TV.
Look at Strahan. I mean,
Strahan transitioned from sports to Good Morning America
to Good Morning America.
I don't think anybody on my list is making Good Morning America, but I'll tell you what. For my number 5, I'm going to go back to baseball because that's kind of where my head works, and this guy. One of the best players of the generation, and he's a shortstop. So I think of when I think smart players who know what's going on. And again, this makes me feel like I want Alex Rodriguez to tell me about hitting. I want Corey Seager to tell me about what's going on in the field and, why people are lined up where they are, because I think he would do that really well. So I would take Corey Seager as my second baseball studio analyst behind Mookie.
It's funny because I was so afraid you were going to take my last guy, who's also a baseball guy. And I kind of feel like this guy is like the baseball equivalent of LeBron, not necessarily in how his career turned out, but the expectations. And that's Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about Bryce Harper, but he would have made my honorable mention list. From a TV guy's background, and maybe this is me being stuck in the early 2000s. It's the big bushy facial hair that he has to we got to make him look better. I try to get guys who have a look, and that's.
I mean, look at Fitzpatrick and Kelsey though. They make it work.
Yeah, but that's football though. That's a different and maybe the Yankee fan in me, still isn't getting used to the guys with the beards. But no, I think Bryce Harper absolutely would be. He'd be good on a podcast if I didn't have to look at him. How about that?
And he's also a guy who's got a pretty good social media presence. Like he's put stuff out there. Like it was 2 or 3 years ago that some kid had Bryce Harper help him ask this girl to the prom.
I remember that. That is cool. Okay.
Yeah, it was some kid who was in Bucks County, suburban Philly. Yeah. And Bryce Harper comes and rings the doorbell, and he's like, "Could Tyler here take your daughter to the prom, sir?"
Anything you want, Mr. Harper. That's good. That's a good job. You won the draft in round 2 though with George Kittle. That if we now nobody picked a hockey player because none of us know hockey. If we took my 5 and your 5 in a hockey announcing show off or showdown, that would be really bad.
Yeah, can any of these guys ice skate? Oh, you said announcing. They're not playing hockey.
I bet you George Kittle could. Of all these guys. But I think Jameis Winston and Jordan Mailata would be terrible on ice skates. Isn't Joe Kelly 6'10"?
He's not that tall.
He's big. He feels like a tall, skinny guy to me.
Are you thinking of the linebacker Joe Kelly?
Maybe. The one who's 68 years old now?
Contemporary of Larry Bird? That Joe Kelly?
I think Bryce Harper might be able to ice skate. On my team, I think Mookie Betts and Corey Seager are – and you know what? Jalen Brunson maybe.
Like a lower center of gravity helps.
Yeah, Travis Kelce and Christian Wilkins, the lineman. No, forget about it.
Oh, yeah. You don't want a defensive tackle on ice skates.
No. Neither do the ice skates. So
or the ice.
Top 5 time. And this was a late ad. This was yesterday, where I thought about this, and since Michigan doesn't have a chance to win the national title this year, and we're going to find out who does have a chance in about an hour and 5 minutes. I wondered, we talked about being college basketball agnostics, whoever. It's fine if Michigan wins. I like Syracuse, but if they don't, it's whatever. Teams that we wouldn't mind seeing the football national championship. other than our school, other than Michigan, what teams would we not mind seeing? And I actually went with 5 teams from our lifetime that actually did. I mean, it wouldn't bother me if the Citadel won a title, but, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And, Army's not pulling out a title. But I don't know how you went with it, so let's be interested to see where you go. Who's your number 5 team that wouldn't bother you?
Well, it's funny because you just mentioned them, but I think any of the service academies, if Army or Navy or Air Force were to win a national title, like that would be such like an amazing national sports story. But like just seeing one of the service academies go on a run where it's like, like can Navy really do this? Like they're
Army had a Heisman candidate last year at who was their quarterback, like Captain America.
Captain America, yeah, he's like that 235-pound. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's one of those things. It would be this like great patriotic moment.
I can get down with that. So I think I looked at my list and I picked actual teams that actually did win the national championship. My number 5 was Louisiana State, but specifically with Ed Orgeron as their coach.
Okay.
Because he was just, who didn't like Big Ed? Today we did the voice and there's the big husky guy. Yeah, so when LSU won with Ed Orgeron, it was like, okay, I like him. That's fine. Doesn't bother me.
I'll tell you what, I liked Les Miles too, because you never knew what he was going to do. He's kind of a quirky, like an odd duck.
He wasn't. Oh, who was the coach at Texas Tech? The air raid offense.
Mike Leach.
When Mike Leach passed away, the world lost quite possibly the greatest storyteller it's ever seen.
I love the press conference where they ask Mike Leach, like which of the mascots in the Pac-12 or whatever, and he's like, "Well, now you."
He gave a 5-minute detailed, thought-provoking answer.
Yeah, he's like, the Cardinals probably not going to fare too well. I guess it could just fly away.
No, but Les Miles on the mic, he's okay too. He's not quite Ed Orgeron, but I can't complain. So LSU is my 5.
So now I didn't just limit mine to.
No. So it'll be interesting to see. We won't have a lot of overlap, I bet.
My number 2 or my number 4, whichever way you want to say it, is sort of an all-encompassing answer because we were talking about Kutztown being alive in the Final Four of the Division II. Any PSAC school to win a national football championship. I'm even though I'm a Husky, I'm all in on Kutztown winning a national title right now.
And right now, let's look at D2 football playoffs.
I forget to take it. They just beat Frostburg State yesterday.
So they beat Frostburg. They hammered Frostburg State.
Yeah.
Now let's look at, if you look at seeding, Kutztown's the 1 seed in their bracket. Frostburg State was the 7.
Okay.
They knocked off the 2 seed, Johnson Smith, 21-7. Then they knocked off Cal. California was the 6 seed. They upset Virginia Union. So Frostburg State probably didn't belong on the same field as Kutztown, seeding wise, but you play who you play. Kutztown will now
with the Division II playoffs, it's a lot like the high school football state playoffs, where a lot of times if you're like an Eastern high school, you don't know about those teams in the West because the same way that if you're in the East Super Region, like you don't know about the Midwest or some Division II team from Texas. Like they're 11-0, but how good was their competition compared to yours?
It's a good question. Right now, the Final Four, Kutztown would be seeded 2. They will face Harding. The only thing I know about Harding is they were the number 1 seed out of their region. And if I click on their name, they are from commercials playing. I know nothing about Harding.
And, Harding isn't one of those, like, you have your, like, your Division II teams that kind of have the pedigree.
The other side of the bracket, Ferris State, the number 1 seed, they're a team you usually see.
Yeah, Ferris, like Valdosta, like, Saginaw, like teams like that. They're the programs that, historically make runs. So Harding.
It's not in the Final Four, though. I'm with you. I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Yeah, and, go Kutztown.
From my number 4, and this was again they were in the championship game. Didn't bother me if they won. This was before they were in the Big Ten though. I put USC down. I liked Reggie Bush as a player. I thought Reggie Bush was exciting. When Pete Carroll was there, it was like dynastic. So and it wasn't like a dynasty that was like irritating to me. And maybe it's because they were on the West Coast or they weren't a real rival of Michigan, and they were Notre Dame's rival. So the enemy of my enemy and whatever. But like when USC played Texas, I was actually kind of quietly rooting for USC to win that one too, and they didn't. But it was whatever. But so if USC wins now as a Big Ten team, it might be a little different. But they don't feel like a Big Ten team still, so I don't think I'd care.
I can get behind that because I remember like even growing up, like when USC and UCLA. Like that was really like one of the few times like as like in the old like network model where like East Coast kids would be able to watch like the West Coast teams. Like you only saw USC if they were playing Notre Dame or UCLA. And I always kind of trended more toward UCLA for football anyway.
You can take Cade McNown, I'll take Matt Leinart.
Oh wait, did I say UCLA? I meant USC.
Oh, okay.
I misspoke.
Troy Aikman was a UCLA guy. I mean, you're $21 billion. I'll root for Troy, sure.
My number 3, I'm going to actually stay in the state of California. I don't know what it is about Stanford that, like, if I could go to any school, Stanford would be very high on the list. And whenever, and it hasn't happened often in our lifetime, but whenever Stanford's good, I just appreciate it. That a school that's like basically an Ivy League school can be competitive. Like during the Harbaugh years, and like Andrew Luck and Toby Gerhart. So if Stanford ever got to be like, however briefly, a power that was making a run at a national title, I would be a Stanford fan.
You better get some scholarships because out-of-state tuition is about $90,000.
Well, now that I've got Jerry's billions,
sure. You know what? I
might get a PhD.
Even with my SAT scores, if I had $500 billion for rooting for Ohio State, I could probably buy my way into Stanford.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, so right now, the way my mindset is, I wonder how successful I could be at a Stanford or like a Harvard, because like I don't learn well by reading. I never did. And a lot of college learning is here's a textbook with 10-point font. There's 8 chapters you have to read by tomorrow. I don't think I could do that. But like if there was a teacher at one of those places that was like, here, let's get our hands dirty, I think I could be relatively successful based on teaching styles at a Stanford.
See, and I'm the exact opposite in most ways. Where, yeah, like if I read something, it's like if it's something I have to learn and then regurgitate, like if I read it, it's just tattooed.
There you go. That's why this show works so well. Yeah. My number 3 is their name came up earlier. And I like their initials. The initials work for me. I don't mind if Miami of Florida wins a national title. The swagger they have, they were fun to watch. You know, when they were dominating the 80s and, even into the 90s when I thought they were favored to win the Sugar Bowl against Alabama. I was amazed that Alabama hung with them because it was Miami.
Well, and they had the Heisman Trophy. That was Geno Smith.
Terrible game that day, but yeah. But so give me some Miami, Florida. I don't mind if they win.
Yeah, I know. Like, especially like when they were playing that Maurice Claret, Ohio State.
Oh yeah. Well,
like those Larry Coker, the Larry Coker Miami.
Ohio is gonna. I'll wear their shirt unless Ohio gives me $300 billion.
Yeah, Miami was always like great entertainment because you didn't know what you were going to see. You might see a player score 6 touchdowns. You might see a bench clearing brawl. You might see both.
They're still one of the best 30 for 30s out there too. Not only the
The U,
The
yeah.
documentary on them in the 80s, the Catholics versus Convicts, is a great one.
Yeah.
So they're good media too.
Yeah. No, Miami's a good choice. I'm going to go back to a lower division of football. Another school that has been previously mentioned. Not a school that has been successful at football, but I would really like it if Bucknell,
Okay.
just being like local to me,
Sure.
Lewisburg's only about 30, 40 minutes away. Like and I have family that went there. So if Bucknell ever got really good at football, that would be exciting for me.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to remember this name, but back in 2002, I think there was a kid from Berwick named Andy Decker.
Yeah, big 33 kid.
And Andy Decker was like the big defensive lineman. I had just started at WILN. I want to say it was November. It was December, so it was around that time. So I missed high school football season.
Me and you covered the big 33 game that he was in.
We did. But so I didn't follow high school football closely, and I certainly didn't follow Berwick. So when it was signing day, Tim Thompson, who was the sports director at YLN, tells me, Max, you got to go to Berwick for a signing. And you know what happened? I told Tim about it, and then he told me, he's like, you got to go. Andy Decker came up to me. I was covering a Berwick wrestling match, and he came up and he's like, do you want to interview me? And I'm like, about what? Who are you? I felt so bad. And he's like, I signed. I'm going to Bucknell. And he was such a great kid. I'm like, yeah, sure. The interview, like when you interview kids, sometimes they think they're bigger than they are. They don't quite understand life in the world. This kid was not that, man. He was soft spoken. But I went back and looked at some of his highlights, and holy cow, he was a beast at defensive end. He really was.
Yeah, and I got to cover a lot of kids who, because I covered Southern Columbia when I was, in the journalism days, and Southern, for a little while anyway, was a bit of a pipeline to Bucknell, where like Ryan Slater, who was like an all-state linebacker, he ended up going to Bucknell. They had a really good cornerback, Zach Allen, and you talk about like great kids, same as with Decker, great kids, great players.
If you're going to Bucknell, you're probably not looking to play in the league. You're probably going there to get an education. And Bucknell is a tremendous school. I don't know. I never looked at what Decker was studying, and I wonder what he's doing right now.
And the facilities, like the Christy Mathewson Stadium, is just a great place to see a game.
Andy Decker is an actor. I don't think it's the right one. Let's see here. I wonder if this is so I got his LinkedIn page. Andrew Decker, that looks like him too. He is president.
No, he's not.
I
voted in the last election.
President of Tri-State Scrap Metal. So he owns a scrap metal for 14 years. Managing director, domestic full-service processors of scrap copper wire and other non-ferrous metals. Directly responsible for customer acquisition, supply chain management specialists. Good for him, man.
And, you were talking about him at Bucknell, but he was so good at Berwick. He had like a playoff game against Dallas where he had 22 tackles. As
23. I looked it up. Yeah, it's a school record, 23 tackles.
As amazing. A defensive end, just wild.
So, run away from him, dude. So Bucknell's a great pick. Bucknell, the alma mater of a good buddy of mine named Joe Darris. His name's not really Darris, Joe Aberdeen. But he used to come to IUP to hang out with Jason Macco, and we used to call him Darris. You remember in the movie Clerks, how much you bench?
Yeah.
And I'm wearing my shirt like him right now. Like he'd have his sweatshirt pushed up. That was Joe because he was this big bodybuilder. So shout out to Joe. My number two is how do I describe them? If you go back to the 90s and you think about like the cool schools, like Michigan was cool. They were on ABC every week. They were a big national program. The other national program that was really cool, it was Florida State.
Yeah.
And another Florida school out of conference. They didn't play Michigan, so it's easy not to care if they win. But they had like Marvin Jones,
Shade tree.
Tree. If that's not the coolest, badass middle linebacker, he's Alvin Mack in real life. So yeah,
Cowboy collar.
Yeah, rooting for Florida State was easy back in the day because they looked cool.
And their games were events because they were playing like Notre Dame 1 and 2. They were playing Florida. They were playing Miami.
The year that they recruited the kicker because they were always wide right against
Scott
Miami. Bentley, that's right, that's the name. They had a quarterback I think the quarterback was from Pennsylvania back in our day, who broke like the Pennsylvania leg press record of like 2,600 pounds.
Dan Kenda he was either Becca or ACC, okay. And then they made him a fullback
because he could leg press 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, like he was lifting the kind of weight like when you hear about like a mother who like has an adrenaline rush because she has to like lift a car off her baby.
He was leg pressing a Toyota.
That was just like his regular routine, like that frantic mother strength.
Yeah, but that was just average. He popped a blood vessel in his face though, and that's what I remember story wise. Again, memories are mushy from the 90s, but yeah, Dan Kendra was the name.
Yeah,
Florida State's my
team. Florida State's a good one. So now I'm going with my one. It's a team I've only recently started to kind of root for. Give me James Madison. I want James Madison to win the goddamn national title. Raise the trophy, James Madison.
Dukes, go Dukes. And then their coach can run to UCLA.
James Madison as a president was number 4, but as a college football team, they are number 1. Second to nobody.
That's hilarious to me. Now, is it a little bit Bob Chesney related? Or just because they're James Madison and like.
I think it's a combination of like again, some of the players who I covered in the journalism days did play for James Madison.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Southern had a pair of brothers, Kyle and Sean Conahan, who both went to James Madison. Good family. Okay. The Chesney connection, the presidential history connection. It's just a confluence of reasons.
I love it. My number one, probably not a surprise. I mean, I will root for them as long as they're not playing Michigan. And it's really just because of my dad. I don't mind seeing Alabama win. And when they were in their run of, 17 SEC title games, the Saban years, and I'll even tell my dad, Saban was a great coach, and it's obvious that he was able to, slip a couple fazools under the mattress to people before NIL. And when NIL came around, it wasn't surprising that he retired. But when they would play Clemson or Ohio or the SEC title games against Georgia, like those games, I rooted for Alabama just primarily because my dad was a fan.
And here's the thing. Alabama is one of those programs where the sport is better when they're good.
Yeah, I can see that.
Every sport needs their evil empire. Like baseball is better when the Yankees are good.
Life is better when the Yankees are good. What are you talking about?
The Lakers in the NBA, not so much the Cowboys.
Well, when the Lakers get rid of LeBron, I will agree with that sentiment. But I'm anti-James. We've had that talk before.
I'm not anti-LeBron, but
he flops and he had an hour-long special to go to Miami.
Did you see his streak of double-digit?
Yeah, he got scoring? 8 points. Yeah. It was bound to end, but good on him that he didn't make a big deal of it. I guess that he could have cried and flopped about it, but.
Yeah, like the LeBron fans are trying to make it like it was the selfless thing that he didn't, hoist up a terrible shot and instead pass to Hachimura for the game winner. Which, I mean, to LeBron's credit, that's the smart play.
That's been his career, though. I mean, even back to Miami. Thank you, Ray Allen, for saving him. I have to go if I go on Facebook right now. I'm almost guaranteed. Maybe not though. It seems every 30 days. I have to snooze a group that I'm not even in. I'm getting a lot of Michigan diehard stuff, which is cool. They're big Indiana fans now. I wonder why. This is one of them. Basketball talk only. This guy named Jay, I won't give him his full name, Michael Jordan is the most hated player in NBA history, hands down. Bro hasn't played in 22 going on 23 years, but he's the subject of all conversations. I am so tired of LeBroniacs or whatever they are, who obviously are like 18 years old, have never even seen Michael Jordan play. That the argument's tired to me. So I snooze all of those groups, but then they come back and they come back stronger.
I get those too. Like and it seems like they all get like the same talking points about ways to, either take Jordan down or then the Jordan people to take LeBron down. And it's tired and it's boring and it's redundant. Like the LeBron people say, like, oh well, Jordan, lost in the playoffs to Bird and to Magic, and it's like, yeah, and LeBron lost to Duncan, and people lose to other great players.
Dirk and nobody else. But I mean, it's
funny because we were just saying how much we hate the debate, and now I'm almost like
now we're getting into it.
So. Engage in the debate.
So that's our top five. Your top five was really out of the box. I loved it. So it's cool that we don't have the same one sometimes. Mr. Smarty Pants time, and I've got a question. I've got a question and a list, neither of which deal with James Madison, unfortunately.
I have a list for you as well.
Ooh, we'll do Mr. Smarty Pants first. Or, okay. No. Let's do Mr. Noodlehead, and you can make up for it.
And this one's not all that obscure. It's very doable.
What did I eat for dinner this week? In order.
What are the 5 ingredients to make the best paella according to recipe.com?
I did that to you a couple months ago with soup. You did pretty good, if I remember.
So last week, Devontae Adams caught his 117th career touchdown pass, moving him into 7th place all time on the career touchdown reception list.
That's amazing. Really?
Yes. Who are the 6 players above him on the list?
Okay. Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is number 1 with 197, which is 31 more than anyone else on the list.
Terrell Owens.
Theo is 3rd on the list with 153.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss is 2 on the list with 156.
I couldn't go 1, 2, 3. For some reason, I thought Owens was higher. Okay. How about Marvin Harrison?
Marvin Harrison is 5th on the list with 128. So you have 2 left.
Yeah. I'm trying to match them up with quarterbacks because obviously to catch a touchdown, you got to throw a touchdown.
Your logic checks out.
Does that sound logic?
Matter can neither be destroyed nor created.
So the sickness came back a little bit. How let's see, weird obscure. How about Isaac Bruce?
That's a really good one, but I think Torrey Holt siphoned too many touchdowns away from him. It's not Isaac Bruce.
How about Torrey Holt?
It is not Torrey Holt.
Okay.
I think Isaac Bruce siphoned too many touchdowns from Torrey Holt.
How about it's a name that just came, Chad Johnson Ochocinco?
It is not Mr. Not to be pedantic, but Ochenta y Cinco.
Yeah.
It's not him, no matter what you call him.
I can't think of like a number 1 receiver for Brett Favre. That would be like
he had a lot of guys between like it's
not. I'm thinking like Brady had Moss, Manning had Harrison, Jerry Rice was just Jerry Rice, and T.O. was around a lot.
So I like the way you're thinking about it, but I'll give you a hint that rather than using like touchdown heavy quarterbacks, you just need to think of the era. So post 2000 when touchdown passes just went through the roof. Would you care? Would
I
you
think
care
Calvin
for?
Johnson did. I thought Calvin Johnson retired too early, but we'll go Calvin Johnson.
He did retire too early. It's not Calvin Johnson. Would you like the alma maters of the two remaining
Oh,
players?
sure. Yeah, it can't hurt.
One is an Ohio State guy, and one was a Pitt guy.
Oh, Larry Fitzgerald. That's
Larry
gosh.
Fitzgerald,
How did I even think of Larry Fitzgerald?
sixth with 121.
And for some reason, and I think we did this list already. Like people from Ohio State that don't irritate us. I don't know if Sean Springs made my list, but I'm picturing Sean Springs, but he's a cornerback.
Yeah, it's not Sean
And-
Springs.
And the only receiver I can think of right now is Joey Galloway. It's not
No.
Joey Galloway.
I'll give you another hint for the remaining player. Some would argue that all he did was catch touchdowns.
Mike Vrabel.
No.
That's all he did on offense. Oh my gosh.
Although Mike Vrabel did play at Ohio State.
And he did catch touchdowns.
He did catch touchdowns.
Chris Carter?
It is Chris Carter.
Okay. You know what? I needed a lot.
He was fourth with 130.
Wow, that's
It's wild to me it took him so long to get in the Hall of Fame.
yeah. I don't feel noodly today. That's okay.
No, that was a pretty good performance.
All right. All right. Now it's your turn to. Oh, good luck, man. So the question is inspired by last night. Last night I spent. I was watching TV on mute because I imagined Gus Johnson was calling the Big Ten game, but I was watching a movie on Discord. I was watching Scrooged. So
Okay.
in the Christmas movie Scrooged, Bill Murray's character Frank Cross gets his start in the television industry as a child's character who's a dog. Do you know the dog's name?
Oh, no. I haven't seen Scrooge probably since I was like 10.
There's a line in the movie where the ghost of Christmas past yells at him, "You left Claire for blank the dog." And I knew the line was coming up, and I thought, "Ooh, that'd be a good trivia question." And I spent like the whole segment of the dog show, I knew it was coming up because his name is on the house, and I thought, "Oh man, I couldn't think of it either." So don't feel bad. He left Claire for Frisbee the dog.
And it's funny because I've been watching Christmas movies because I watched Elf and Christmas Vacation this week.
We must have done our list of favorite Christmas movies. I think Scrooged was on my list.
Yeah.
And I sat there, I watched the whole thing, and it holds up for me. God, was that 1989?
1989.
I mean, that's a long time ago. Bill Murray's a great Scrooge, I think.
Yeah.
It's
funny. I don't know why it's been so long since I've seen that because I remember obviously I love Bill Murray, and I remember really liking that movie.
So last week you came up with a movie list, and I had no chance.
Oh yeah, the variety list of comedy.
Yeah. So, and it's because you wanted to talk about it. So I was watching this TikTok video, and it said Rolling Stone just put out their list of the 500 greatest songs ever. I'm like, oh wow, really? So I looked it up, and the TikTok video is a little outdated. The list came out February 16th, 2024.
Okay.
So I have the top 20 listed right here. So I'm going to give you 1 point for any song title or singer or group that you can name of these 20. Okay. And they are all over the place. I'm going to tell you that right now. There is no chance you're getting 40, so don't feel bad. But I'd be interested to see what you get. 2024 Rolling Stone.
All right. How about Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones?
Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. I will give you credit for the Rolling Stones, but Satisfaction is not the song that came up.
What about Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones?
Gimme Shelter is a point. That was ranked number 13th.
Okay.
There are 12 songs better,
according
to Rolling Stone.
How about Hey Jude by the Beatles?
The Beatles will get you 2 points because they're on the list twice.
Okay.
But Hey Jude is not the song they chose.
What about A Day in the Life by the Beatles?
No.
All right, I'll come back to the Beatles. How about Stairway by Zeppelin?
So I would think that would have to make somebody's top 10. It did not make Rolling Stone's top 20.
Okay. How about like a Rolling Stone by Dylan?
Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, that gives you 2 points. That is number 4.
Okay. I'm just going by like the type of bands that Rolling Stone like, kind of like dad rock.
Walk me through your thought process. You're doing, man.
How about
Somebody's got
Superstition?
no pants on, but
How about Superstition by Stevie Wonder?
Superstition by Stevie Wonder is number 12 on the list.
Okay. How about Respect by Aretha Franklin?
That is number 1.
Okay.
That is the greatest song ever, according to Rolling Stone.
And it was originally it's a cover. It was originally performed by Otis Redding, and when he heard her cover, I forget who it was that he was listening to, but he looked at them and he said, "She done stole my song."
That's great.
How about Hey Ya by Outkast?
I'm amazed you got that. That's number 10.
How about Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen?
Well, I mean, so that would make a lot of sense to me. That was down at 17.
Okay. Boy, I'm still stuck on those Beatles ones. How about
They're not like when I think of the Beatles, that they're not what I think of. But
so I'm assuming it's like British Invasion Beatles, not like later psychedelic Beatles?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know, but they're like, there was a movie that they did, like it was about Beatles songs, and I remember one of these songs was in that movie because I remember the visual to it.
Yesterday? What about Across the Universe?
I think that's the name of the movie.
Yeah,
is that a
with
song?
Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh, if in fact that's also a song, that is not one of the songs.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to stop naming random Beatles songs then.
Random Beatles songs.
What about something like Hound Dog by Elvis?
No, Elvis doesn't make the list. Popular artist, but I don't know what their criteria was for greatest songs ever, especially looking at number 2. If you get number 2, we will lead off every show with Mr. Smarty Pants because you either have the list in front of you or you're freaking amazing.
What about Bring It On Home to Me by Sam Cooke?
I'll give you a point for Sam Cooke, but it's not Bring It Home to Me.
Boy.
I don't recognize this Sam Cooke, and I like Sam Cooke. I have Sam Cooke on my phone right now.
Is it a Change Is Gonna Come?
Yeah, that's it. Change Is Gonna Come. I didn't recognize that song when I saw it.
How about I Feel Good by James Brown?
James Brown does not make the list, but Outkast does.
Boy, now I'm intrigued by what number 2 could be. What about Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes?
The White Stripes do not make the list. That's a cool song. I mean, you talk about raw, like stadium rock. The Chambersburg Band plays the hell out of that. I love that song. I don't even care that Penn State plays it. The fact that Chambersburg plays it's cool.
The one school I used to cover, Central Columbia, I liked when their band used to do Show Me Where the Freak's At.
Nice.
that was always
what bugs me. Talk about bands. Harrisburg has an awesome band, but like when Chambersburg scores a touchdown, they play "Fight On," which is the USC Trojan song because we're Trojans. Harrisburg plays the Ohio State song.
What about With or Without You by U2?
U2, I would have thought made the list. No, they don't make the list.
Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Song of a Generation, number 5.
How about something that everyone knows but might not think of with a list like this? What about something like You Really Got Me by the Kinks?
I'll give you the Kinks, but not You Really Got Me.
Then it's got to be Waterloo Sunset.
Waterloo Sunset. Look at you crushing this list.
Okay.
I thought I was going to trick you. I'm going to trick you with number 2, though. You're not getting that.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued by number two. What about something like "Bridge Over Troubled Water" by Simon and Garfunkel?
Great guess. No.
How about "Walk the Line" by Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash nowhere on this list.
Wow. Okay.
But Outcast is.
How many do I have?
Holy cow. So point-wise, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You're at halfway.
Okay.
The half point you got, the only half point you're getting is the Beatles. And really that's a full point because they're on the list twice.
How about what? "I Want to Hold Your Hand" by the Beatles?
I Want to Hold Your Hand. That's number 15.
And what about "She Loves You"? "Can't Buy Me Love"? All right.
It's the number 7 song on the list too.
Eleanor Rigby.
No.
Ah, damn it.
Let me just pull out my catalog of Beatles songs.
Yeah. Boy. I think I'm starting to slow down here.
Okay. And so as far as clues go, the other Beatles song I can tell you, the visual I got was very bloody.
Did you say the other Beatles song, the visual you got was bloody? Bloody.
I think the song was about war.
Revolution?
And the blood left on the battlefield. It's a little fruity song.
Strawberry Fields?
Strawberry Fields Forever. Ranked number 7th.
Wow.
20.
What about because I'm except for Outkast, I'm really forgetting like rap, hip hop, R&B. What about something like Big Papa by Biggie?
No, didn't make the list.
California Love by Tupac with Dre.
Nope, not on the list. So I'll work my way up for you.
Okay.
Number 20, I can't even give you a clue because I don't know who this person is. So I'm just going to tell you. The song is called "Dancing on My Own" from Robin.
Oh, yeah. That's not the 20th best song ever written. The Phillies used that as like their rally song the past few years.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, there's that. 19 is, I guess I could have given you a point for the Beatles, but it's not the Beatles.
It's "Imagine" by John Lennon.
John Lennon, Imagine. So
I hate that song. I hate that song.
There's only 18 songs better. And one of them is, so this song was played at Super Bowl 41 very unironically.
Super Bowl 41.
And after he sang it, he made the Bears pancakes.
Oh, Purple Rain.
Pancakes. Purple Rain, because they played it in the rain.
What about "Born to Run" by Springsteen?
Springsteen's not on the list.
Okay.
So we'll go up to 16. 16, you got a little bit of hip hop there. It is a collaboration. And it is, when we talked about music videos, I chose one of her music videos, not this one.
Oh, boy. I don't remember who you picked.
I picked the Beyonce song where she's singing in a champagne glass.
Oh, is it All the Single Ladies?
No, not all the same. So this was a collaboration with Jay-Z.
Oh, Crazy in Love.
Crazy in Love. There you go. I don't know how to give you clues for these. Okay, so this song, I have a lot of their albums. My dad would have had a lot of their albums. And this song really, really, really worked awesomely in the movie Love Actually. Christmas movie.
Oof, I don't know if I've ever seen Love Actually all the way through.
I think it's at the end of Love Actually too. So these guys sang a song that David Lee Roth covered.
Is it the Beach Boys? God only knows.
The Beach Boys, God only knows. There you go. Get that. I've heard this song before. I don't know how to.
That's
What's
a
wrong?
vague hint.
What's?
I've heard this song before. And go.
It's. I have to look up some clues for you. It was released in 1977, and it was this group's #1 overall song.
Staying Alive by the Bee Gees?
No, I don't think that. I mean, I think that was in a movie. I would have used a movie there.
Right.
Let's see here. It was a German single written by someone who, if you heard their name back in the 70s, you might not have thought that it was a female singer.
I don't know.
When I was in the 80s, if I heard the name Stevie, I probably thought it was a guy.
Oh, okay. Is it Landslide?
It's not Landslide.
Is it her solo or her with Fleetwood Mac?
With Fleetwood Mac.
Dreams?
Fleetwood Mac Dreams is number 9 on the list.
Oh.
Number 8 is one that this was another one. I looked at that and I'm like, he's not getting this. And I don't even know how to give you a clue for it. It was Missy Elliott's "Get Your Freak On."
Okay. I don't know if I'd put that quite that high.
Yeah. Number 6. Can I give you a clue about this guy? I've heard him before. Oh my goodness. Oh, so apparently he was this gentleman was shot.
Oh, Marvin Gaye, what's going on?
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I learned a little something here on Soup and Meatballs. And number 2, I don't know if I can play it. I don't know if I can play it, but I'm gonna.
Yet our best trained, best educated, know what I know in while a black man sweating in the rhythm round.
Fight the Power?
Gotta give us what we need. Our freedom of speech, best freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
There it is. Fight the Power.
Oh, I should have.
Enemy.
When I was thinking of like rap groups that like Rolling Stone, I was thinking Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, NWA, and Public Enemy, and I don't know why. After Tupac and Biggie, I stopped.
Yeah, I was. Once you started going that route, I'm like, but if he pulls out Public Enemy, then he's got the list in front of him. Because that's wild. Good. That's a hell of a.
I'll take that effort.
You got there.
I'll take that effort.
All right. And you know what? I don't even feel like Mr. Newblood today, so heck with that.
This is a self-esteem builder for both of us.
It is. I think so. I'll tell you what. So let's build our self-esteem a little bit more, if you got time.
Absolutely.
We have 20 minutes till the show or whatever. That it's. So we're gonna let's do a spin the wheel,
Okay.
and since it's not baseball season, we can't talk about baseball. Let's do baseball. So we're gonna pick. You got 5 guys,
Okay.
an infielder, an outfielder, and a pitcher, but then 2 of anybody. Okay.
Okay.
So let me get we'll share our screen with the people so they can see. I want this full tab. I don't know if you can see it back in the world if you're watching, but this is our spin of death. Let me get rid of the. Here, try to get some space here. All right, so I'll let you pick first. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Spinny, spinny. And this is inspired. I see this guy on TikTok that he has the logos that fly by. He drafts basketball and football. He never does baseball. So, Tim, you've got to pick a St. Louis Cardinal. Good choices here.
I'm torn between 3 people, but I think I'm going to go with Albert Pujols.
Pujols. Okay, so right now I'm just going to put him in infield, but you never know. You have 2 flex spots, so okay, so we'll close that. And for me, I think that's a good pick, by the way.
I was between him, Rogers, Hornsby, and Stan Musial.
Cleveland Guardians also could be the Indians.
Or the Spiders.
Ooh, I'm probably not going to the Spiders.
You're not taking Nap Lashaway?
I probably shouldn't.
Lou Boudreau?
Ooh. Wow. There's so many guys from those 90s teams that were really good.
And is this the same rules where if they played even like 1 second with that team,
Oh yeah,
you get their whole career?
Cup of coffee in the big time. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I did. Oh shoot. Did Russ Kanzler played with Cleveland? I think. I'm not picking Russ. I think so. I'm not picking Russ Kanzler. I will. I think there's. Yeah, I'm not going to take him. As much as he's a weirdo in Boston, he's one of the best hitters of all time. I'll take Manny.
Okay.
I was thinking about, and I couldn't think of his name. The shortstop, the greatest defensive guy besides Ozzie Smith.
Oh, Vizquel, Omar Vizquel.
Do I want defense? Nah. So I got Manny.
All right.
I put him in the outfield for now.
That's just Max being Max.
You were going to get a Chicago White Sox.
Okay. I'm gonna take Ken Griffey Jr.
Put him in the outfield for now because that makes sense. It's a good poll too. You played there for like an hour.
It broke my heart to not take. You know, I loved Frank Thomas.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Well, I have an outfielder, so
you've got some options.
Rob Nen is out there. Oh, geez.
If you're looking for shortstops, you could always take Juan Uribe.
I was thinking Jeff Kent at second. No, I'm gonna flex Willie Mays.
Okay.
And maybe I'll get the Pirates later, but oh no, oh this is tough. The Miami, you have choices though at least. The Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
Jay Surhoff. Mike Lowell.
I'll take Mike Piazza.
Piazza played there?
He did at the end of his career.
Okay. So I put him in.
He played first base for them as well.
He's one of your flexes.
Yes.
All right, so I need an infielder, a pitcher, and a flex. Get Cleveland again. Maybe I should take the scale here. I'm building an offensive team, so it feels weird not to stick with that. He's a big dude. I'll take Jim Thome.
Okay. Nothing wrong with 600 career homers.
And hope I don't get it Cleveland again for a pitcher. I'm stuck with like Feller or Cece. Arizona Diamondbacks. Pitcher or flex?
I'll take Randy Johnson.
That shouldn't be hard. I've already written the R down. So pitcher or flex for me.
I was worried I was going to get stuck with like the Marlins again. I'd be like, I don't know, give me Dontrell Willis.
Oh, you could like Josh Beckett had a good career there, and
that's true.
That's okay. So Baltimore, pitcher or flex. I could go Palmer, but I think I can do better than Palmer. I know who I want. I just got to remember his name. Okay, let me write this down before I forget. Flex. I'm gonna take Eddie Murray.
Okay.
Cal Ripken Jr. was at Vesuvio's once, and he did my cousin wrong. He wouldn't talk to him, so the heck with him.
Really?
Texas Rangers. You got a flex position, so you can take anybody in Texas history.
Okay. Anybody in Texas history?
Rogers is an option.
What's that?
Kenny Rogers is out there.
We all love the Chicken Man, but I'm gonna take. I'll take Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, really? Over A-Rod.
Oh my God, I wasn't even thinking A-Rod.
Oh. Nolan Ryan's not bad to pair with Randy Johnson. I don't have a pitcher yet. So I'm going to take a Texas pitcher. No. Oh, look at you. No. Well, Ducks, can I go back and get Jim Palmer? And okay, so Texas pitcher. I can only think of one right now, and there's got to be a better option. I'm going to write the name down so I don't forget it, but oh my gosh, this is brutal. Texas Rangers starting pitcher. I could sit here for an hour, and you're going to tell me, like, you're going to do to me what I did to you with A-Rod. Cliff Lee.
Okay, that's not a bad one.
It's a bad one. I mean, if we're matching these teams up, who did I miss? Texas Ranger pitcher.
Boy, I'm trying to think. I mean, they didn't really have anyone for the first however long of the franchise.
I'm looking now. Gaylord Perry? Bert B. Home Blyleven?
Bobby Witt?
The all-time leading pitching winner for Texas, apparently, is Charlie Huff.
Good knuckleballer.
Could have went with Kenny Rogers, the aforementioned. Could have went with Fergie Jenkins, Kevin Brown,
former Harlem Globetrotter, Fergie Jenkins.
Now I'm. Oh my gosh! Did I almost have to fact check myself? Did Cliff Lee play with Texas? I thought he did. He did. He did. In 2010, he was 4-10 for the Rangers.
So you not only got Cliff Lee, but you remembered him from one of the worst seasons of his career.
I think he might have been traded there, and I think that might have been a year I wanted him to be traded to New York, and he ended up going to Texas. But so you have a starting lineup that includes Ken Griffey Jr., Albert Pujols, and Mike Piazza. I've got a starting lineup that has Willie Mays, Eddie Murray, Manny Ramirez, and Jim Tomei. But you've got Randy Johnson and Nolan Ryan on the mound, and I've got Cliff Lee.
You've got Cliff Lee.
I would defer to you. I think you probably win this one based on starting pitching.
And it's funny because it's all because of an inadvertent misstep by not thinking of A-Rod, and I was like, oh.
But that's I like those kind of things. And that guy never does baseball, so that's what you tune into Soup and Meatballs for. Your baseball, build your things. What I missed this week? Anything you want to get out there to the world?
Boy, I don't know. I think we covered just about everything. We
heavy day.
Heavy time of year for between basketball, off-season baseball, NFL. We got the national playoffs. We've got
hockey is probably going on right now.
Yeah, they're playing hockey.
Let's now we're at the very tail end of the show. People are asleep, like they're listening to the podcast. Tampa Bay is 16-10 in the East. So,
all right, and
we don't cover hockey here.
And happy birthday to Larry Bird.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to Joe Kelly coming up later this week.
Joe Winston Kelly, just to be clear.
Kelly, your former
Eagle and Cincinnati Bengal.
All right. A good time, good show. We got here a little early today, so we have a couple minutes that I might be able to go to lunch, and we might get to see who's in the national playoffs. So we'll probably talk about that next week or next time.
JMU.
See where it's at. That's Soup. I'm